with anybody.
And I remember the first time. And I remember the first time.
No, why did I
First
throw
time.
that?
First time. First time. First time. And I remember the first time. And I remember the first time.
And we only meet once in a while anyway.
It's gonna be lonely not being able to see you.
I'm breaking.
It's been great hanging out with you. Why she run from me? Now you wanna come back and now you love on me. But I'm confused why you think you deserve some trust from me. And your heart is painted black. Girl, it's ugly. Fuck your company. Why she run from me? Now you wanna come back and now you love on me. But I'm confused why you think you deserve some trust from me. And your heart is painted black. Girl, it's ugly. Fuck your company. And I remember the first time you had me in your hold. Now you corrupted the safe. I don't never know. Yeah, Vincent that is darkness. Watch all his friends turn to foes. Yeah, trying to troubleshoot me, but I cannot be screwed. Trying to sell me a dream, trying to sell me a home. Why you tell me a lie? Do you think I'm a joke? Swear I'm not a bad guy, but this path my only road. Never been hit in my heart, but you burned it in my soul. Cannot control myself.
That's what you be doing.
That's what you be doing. I know what you want. What do you want from me? It's just I just want too much music. What do you do?
You be running miles and shit.
Taking miles, be running miles.
Hey, fuck it.
Ah!
That's what we'll give him. I don't think they complain about you running miles.
Here, you gotta leave now.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I like people who don't mind.
And I remember the first time you had me in your home. Now you corrupted the safe phone. They would never
Inside
know.
me,
Yeah, missing that it's darkness. Watch all his friends turn to foes. Yeah, try to troubleshoot me, but I cannot be screwed. Trying to sell me a dream, trying to sell me a home. Why you tell me a lie? Do you think I'm a joke? Swear I'm not a bad guy.
He got a bunch of vinyls around it. He just sitting down, looking out the window. Cause sure as hell not speaking. He ignored. Take off people like him.
Yeah. He don't know that, but I know that.
What the fuck?
Ain't we live?
Yeah, we are. And I've just been talking nonsense for the past 10 minutes.
What's up,
We're waiting for the truth.
Big in Tokyo, I wanna be big in Tokyo. Big in Tokyo, I wanna be big in Tokyo. Big in Tokyo, I wanna be big in Tokyo. Big in Tokyo, I wanna be big in Tokyo. Drink all the sake I want, read all the manga I want, wear all the bape that I want, buy all the J's that I want, be with any girl that I want, drive any car that I want. I'm always out of the country. I'm sorry if I ain't home. If the money ain't calling, I never answer my phone. You can see the flow in my chakra. All we smoke is homegrown. You know the boy love ramen. Probably sipping on miso. I know a spot that has shield. I got a spot that has deals. Wait till I get a kimono. I'ma swag it out in my dojo. Some girls are asking for a photo. I guess this happens in Kyoto. When you young and popping in Kyoto.
What's really good? How y'all doing? Yeah.
Terrible, but you know it's a thing.
I'm a lot better.
Nah, I feel it. Everyone else, how y'all doing, man?
I am in relatively okay spirits.
I'm taking that one to the house too. Let's go.
Which house are we going to? Whose house?
My house.
Swerve's house.
I wanna go. I bet he has nice things.
Yeah, he do. He wrestle good too. He black, so you know black people and stuff.
Black people and stuff.
All right. Now I gotta send this last text, and I'm good.
You sending text messages?
Excuse me.
That's what I forgot to send it before I started. That's why.
You're fired. Get out.
You gotta say it like Vince McMahon.
Say it like Trump. Nah, say it like Trump. Say it like Trump.
You're fired.
The way he says it is lame.
I actually have no idea how he sounds. I just know that's something he used to say in some show. I don't know.
Turn off those lights. They're too bright.
Vince McMahon has the best "you're fired" of all time.
He be shaking and spitting.
All right. So out of YouTube. This is on YouTube later. Welcome to I believe the 13th episode of the AnimangaHEADZ podcast. I forgot to end that for a second. I'm like, that's not it. There's more. There's more to that. But we got an esteemed panel today. Remember when this was supposed to be monthly?
No. No.
There's 13 episodes. This is my 4th year. Make it make sense. But anyways.
Oof.
Anyways, yeah, we got some good topics to hop into, but starting lightly, I want to know what we're reading, looking forward to read, planning on probably rereading, and what we're procrastinating on. What's going on with the manga world and anime world? What are we watching, reading, or not, or neglecting? What's going on? What are we doing right now?
Who will begin?
I shall start.
Okay.
All right. So currently watching. The only thing I've currently watched in God knows how long is Spy X Family and The Way of the Household Husband.
You do not.
Don't argue with the Texan.
I do not care. I don't care.
Don't even try it.
I don't care.
He got rocks in his head. Just ignore him.
All X's because I want to. I don't care what them biddies over there say. Anyway.
Literacy in the country is at all time low.
I don't care.
I don't be caring either, but I try to say it properly. I just forget sometimes.
Nah, who cares?
Does it make sense to you in your head?
Yes.
They don't give me no money.
Yes, actually.
They don't give me no
There's
bill.
an X,
They don't give me nothing.
There's an X there. I want to say it.
Exactly.
It makes sense to you in your head.
Yes.
That's true.
Because it's the spy, right? And then you got the X chromosome carried over to the family. You feel what I'm saying?
That's
so
a
it's
fact.
like what's happening is what you got to think about it is logically in a macro sense. You know what I'm saying? You got to actually look at it from
X
multiple.
is the coolest letter in the alphabet.
I actually agree with that.
So if I want to say the X, I'm gonna say the damn X.
Don't say
It's
S.
Two sideways lines.
Oh.
It's fucking Z. Cause why? Cause how the Japanese pronounce Z? It's not even Z. It's Zeto. That's wrong. That's wrong.
First of all, why the fuck do y'all know that? Second of all,
What do you mean? All the anime you watch in your life, you still ain't picked that up.
I don't give a damn about what their rules are. I play by my own rules.
Let
Y'all
that
fail to
nigga know.
They fail to understand all the time. They think I'm playing by the same rules as them. I'm not.
Different.
Anyway, what am I neglecting? Everything else. Because I rarely watch anime in the first place, so everything else is getting neglected.
I felt that.
Manga, I just finished Smile Down the Runway.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to fashion. And then, what am I neglecting in manga? Nothing. It all stinks. But what I plan to read, which had Poom Poom, so I haven't read that.
Oh, you
I
haven't?
thought you said poom poom for a second. I was meant to talk about coochie. I gotta stop.
No, that's not what I plan to read. There's no point of reading that. Some other stuff, but it'd be too long. A lot of stuff. Yeah.
What about you, Saber Kiniku?
He ain't reading nothing. He ain't watching nothing.
Stop. That's a big fat lie. He is lying on my name. This is slander. Yo, this This is illegal slander. I will
He
send a legal
inactive.
proof
He
to
inactive this
your
January.
doorstep.
He like Tower of God. He one of them rankers who fell off the map. We don't even know where they at.
He said I'm in. He said I'm in poverty. He said I'm not even. Wow. He said I'm out of bounds. This is ridiculous. You see how they do me, chat? um. Well, unfortunately, he's like 1/3 right. My anime journey has not begun yet because I'm still doing another obligation. When that obligation is done, then I can finally watch me anime. But until then, no anime yet. I am reading something though. I'm reading a manga called Elemental Geladi. Geladi. It's pretty
Now
raw.
you pronounce it, so you're wrong.
Yo, eat my ass. And it's pretty raw. Would I neglect reading anything that came out past the year 2014?
That's a good answer. I like that.
So many.
I'm dead.
Every time I open my Tachiomi,
He did. He did.
and
Actually, no. Maybe he's not lying.
Oh my god.
Have you read Sakamoto Days at all lately or not?
I'm caught up. I'm not talking about all my ongoings. I'm caught up with all my ongoings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean just the completed stuff.
Simi, I love you, bro. I love you.
Yeah, I ain't doing nothing but I love my brothers too. So we hit and shit. We be fucking shaking ass and shit. But yeah, anything made after the year 2014 is being neglected on, just with a few exceptions like fucking Fire Force and whatnot. Cause that look cool. Eden Zero, cause that look cool. I want to see tits and stuff and good art. But yeah, like every time I open my Tachiomi and I'm on my Shonen Jump tab and I see Chainsaw Man and I look at it, and even though it's only like 70-some chapters or whatever the hell, I'm like, I know those aren't short chapters. I know they're filled with fucking text and ugly ass art, and I gotta read that one day. Ugh, I'm not looking forward to do so. And the shit I am looking forward to reading is just a lot of the stuff that the 2000 manga that I have sitting here that I've had downloaded for freaking years. You see, where y'all slacked at was this. Y'all didn't tell me that Shaman King was a battle royale. If you would have told me that, I would have stopped slandering and would have been reading. Cause let me tell you something, boy. I just finished Lord of Ueki the other day. Yo, that manga gas.
It's been so long for me. I don't remember it.
You know what happened? You got sloppy.
That manga so gas. Yo, the power to turn trash into trees. That shit gas, bro. I don't care what nobody say. They be fighting in that bitch. I'm like, yo, son, this gas. Yo, they just fight till there's one nigga left. It's so fire. Like, I'm a very simple person. But yeah, all them 2000 goodness, so freaking Shaman King I got waiting for me. I'm about to freaking read Mayor, Marching Awaken Romance after I finish Elemental Gladi. Who else I got sitting there? Shit, I got a bunch of freaking 2000 shit sitting there. But yeah, it's looking good for me. I'm actually enjoying reading my manga during my commute times and whatnot when I'm on break and shit. Real fun stuff. Elemental Glade actually has a potential favorite female character for me in there too. So, but I shall update y'all when I finish it. I'm gonna try to finish it this weekend. I'm about to be done.
Okay. Pat.
I am neglecting a lot of shit, actually. I am neglecting Kengan Omega.
That's okay.
I'm neglecting Twin Star Exorcist.
That's also okay.
Neglecting Windbreaker for whatever reason. Hardcore Leveling Warrior, even though it just finished.
I know. I have no excuse for that one. It's done at this point.
I just don't know why. Like I'm trying to wrap it around my head, but
it just happens, brother. It just happens.
Yeah. As for what I'm keeping up with, One Piece, of course. I never miss One Piece ever. It could be a fucking flood. I'll find a way to read One Piece. Kingdom is in a really good spot right now. I'm enjoying it.
You ain't read it when they sent you to Alabasta though.
Man.
They in Alabama?
when he was in Alabama, he didn't read it. There was a one point where Pat was gone for so long, and he came back and had like 80 chapters to read. I obviously exaggerated.
Okay, he
but, like,
exaggerated. I
yeah.
had like 10.
Just
There was no service whatsoever. I had
hey,
zero
you said it'd be a flood. Hey, figure it out, man.
You see that? You see that? You see that? Where is your range?
Do
Rise.
not care about the Chinamen and them Oriental folk as much as he do the pirates.
uh,
Well, yeah, sorry, keep going.
yeah. Oh, I'm neglecting Epo as well. I'll catch up on that eventually. I'm not too far behind.
No, you good.
Um,
You can wait.
I'm neglecting My Hero. I'm
Yeah,
neglecting
you're definitely
Gaia.
good on that one.
You definitely go out there.
Even My Hero fans, I admit that. Like, yeah, don't worry about it, bro.
I said you can wait. You good.
Are you still neglecting Black Clover or nah? You finally,
Oh,
you finally
Black
woke.
Clover's never getting picked back up.
No,
Nope.
I was talking shit. Even though you read it before, actually, I was talking shit.
I did. I enjoyed it, but I saw the direction that they were headed, and I determined that it was not for me. But I have no ill misgivings towards Black Clover. I'm just
I do because they
done with
lied,
it.
so now they get roasted.
They lied to you?
Yeah, they told me
How
it
so?
was super unique. So
Oh yes,
completely
they
different.
absolutely did.
There's no one quite like Asta with the ability to use like anti-magic type things. And I'm like, Tomo's
Yo,
right there.
literally, he's scratching his head, he digging up his ass, he take a sneeze. He like, yo, who talking about me?
I don't know why they did that, but
Like
I mean-
seriously, the phrase or the name Imagine Breaker is way more raw than a generic fucking Buster Sword. I'm sorry.
Talk to him.
What do I know? Sorry, Pat, continue.
nah, that's cool. Whatchamacallit? Yeah, like me and Juju are hot and cold. Last week's chapter was really good. The one before that sucked, as did the one before that. After they had like a 4-week stretch of straight gas. So, but I keep up with it because it amuses me, whether it's good or bad.
It's the wrong answer.
Yeah, I think I covered everything that's on my list. I gotta start the Breaker season 3, but I'm debating if I want to reread seasons 1 and 2 before I start 3.
No, you don't.
Wait, Breaker season 3's out?
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
I
the
don't
first. I think when it dropped, they dropped like 2 chapters the first time. I remember going, "Oh, we
It's
got
a-
2
it's a- it's a
chapters."
web-
ah!"
It's a
Yeah.
webtoon now.
They drop like they're literally dropping like a chapter an hour.
Oh,
It's a webtoon now.
Yeah,
feel it, Miles.
Oh.
feel it.
Feel it.
Over
Over here,
my
over
friend.
here, ho. Go ahead, Miles. What are you reading? Not watching, whatever. You know the question.
I don't really watch anime.
Gay. Huh?
But I'm reading a lot, but that's because it's easy for me when it's just if I just keep up. Rather if I stop reading, I'll just forget it for like months.
Look at Skolb
reading-
out there doing God's work. That's what I like to hear and see. He said he'd been working on the Monogatari light novels. Currently on Nisei Monogatari Part 1. Music to my ears. Sorry, keep going.
Yo.
Miles.
I'm caught up with Marshall,
Yeah,
Kaiju,
yeah.
JJK,
Boo.
Kingdom,
Boo.
One Punch Man,
Boo.
Okay.
Baki,
Yeah.
Yeah.
King and Omega,
Boo.
Ippo, One Piece,
Boo.
One Punch.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
You see? I keep on your toes. You guys didn't expect that one, huh? Keep on your toes, man. Oh, what will he do next? He's crazy. He's spontaneous. Oh, what will he do? Sorry, Miles.
One Punch Man, Black Clover, Radiant, BB Super,
That's
Eden
not fine.
Zero, and Knights of the Apocalypse.
I don't even know what that is, so I'm gonna just cough on that one.
That's a webtoon?
Knights of
believe it.
Apocalypse. No, Knights of Apocalypse is the sequel to Seven Deadly Sins.
Mhm.
Oh.
Oh.
So let me see what Chad's saying. Have anything on the video game grind? Yeah, Hardcore 11
Yeah, they're
Warriors,
talking
King's
about
Peak,
VGs.
Blue Lock.
Kaba is a fucking hack.
Hell
Oh.
yeah, like Mukai video games and another time. I feel that. I'm reading Black Torch. Okay. Lawweki was goated. Yes, sir. Lawweki is great. I'm reading high school. Yeah, it's been so long since I read that. They're playing Oblivion. Keep us locked in. I actually don't like constant update games. They do not keep me engaged. They give me a bunch of busy work I hate doing. When I'm watching Spy Family and Kaguya-sama, I like Kaguya-sama too. But I read it. But it's one of those series. I think it's like Niseko. It's like you cannot convince me that you can pull this off for like 100 chapters plus. Wrap it up in 60. Okay, Spy Family.
Some of that like 300 chapters.
Yeah, they're about to be. It's like 200 something, I think.
And basically what I'm saying is no, I don't
Yeah,
believe
that's
you.
accurate. See,
It's
that's
exactly
how I felt.
exactly
That's
how I
felt.
felt when I was reading Detective Conan. I'm like, you did not keep this up for this long. I just don't believe it. It's not. I know I'll get tired.
He does it like, to me, he does it like the Sunday comics, basically. That's how he treat Detective Conan. It just come out every week just cause.
But yeah, as for what I'm collecting,
I wasn't finished.
Oh, Jesus! All right, go ahead.
I wasn't finished.
I was just gonna say, the ones that I'm neglecting that I need to actually go and do is I need to do a reread of Prince of Tennis, and I have to read ones that I've never had, which is Gintama, JoJo Leon, Diamond O Ace, and Haikyuu.
I would recommend anime for
Imagine
Gintama.
not reading freaking rock niggas,
Yes, sir.
but you're looking at some fucking whatever the fuck he listed. Unbelievable.
But he never watched. He ain't never watched Rock Guys, so he don't know no better.
Wait, Wait, what am I missing?
It's okay.
Don't worry about
One day you'll understand. One day. Till that day comes, it is what it is.
All right, niggas. All right.
Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm back on Smut. We back. My arms fold.
Is it because of Glam or not?
No, I was always going down this path, but he did help. I will give him some credit.
You can save that. That's for this weekend. If that's still the schedule, yeah, T.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's actually a good thing you said that, because Lord knows that shit slipped the fuck out of my mind. So well done. That's what you gotta do with me. You gotta remind me multiple times in the week that I said I'll do something, because you know me. Weekend comes and I'm just out of here. I'm just doing shit in the streets. So
shout out to the Smut. I'm gonna read like 80 Smut by then.
all right, I'm still neglecting
Life.
the Neon Genesis Evangelion movie. Still haven't watched Gintama the final. See that?
Man, you ain't never gonna watch that shit.
I haven't seen that.
Like,
I haven't read Mashal, Sakamoto Days, and Kaiju
How the
number
fuck did
8.
he say that?
I don't know how long it's been. It's been a while, but you know what I'm saying. Dino Ace, I'm sorry. Golden Kamui has been done. I'm sorry. Hardcore 11 Warrior, I'm sorry. I still don't know what happened with Purple Hyacinth. I was going crazy and I just died.
that man said something finished. I'm not reading.
What do I read every week? Kubera.
Yep. Salute.
That's it.
To the goat.
He
Bro.
said that. Wow. You're gonna keep disrespecting One Piece on stream, or like
Yes.
what's going?
Yes, he is.
Damn, I've been doing better than him. That's crazy.
Now hold on. I said, I got him. There's One Piece coming out this week. So how could I say I'm reading it every week if it's not coming out?
But
Dun.
But you would still be caught up though.
Exactly. Look, he thought he
that's
got me
not
with that.
that's not what I said though. All I said was actually remember what I said. I really don't. But anyways, I'm just being an asshole. Obviously, Tower of God and One Piece 2. I think that's it. I think that's the only 3 things I'll make sure to read every time they come out. Is that yeah? Okay. Break week, 2 Piece in the Mud. What's up, Ashu? Reminds me of DC. I don't know not to the apocalypses, but all right. Let's hop into the meat and potatoes and stuff. So I'm actually gonna start with this one first because I'm actually curious to why Simi said this, because I'm not paying attention. I have no idea. I don't keep my ear to the ground anymore. But you said the death of fan service, ecchi anime back then versus now. You think there's been you think things have changed? Do you think now people actually, you know what? Just lead us off.
Yeah, I absolutely think that things have changed. Every aspect, actually, just from how fan service is versus how it was back in the day, and the lack of it nowadays. Now, of course, this is a conversation that can only be had if you was there back then. But I do remember a time where it don't matter what you was looking at, somebody nipple was coming out.
Yeah, that's true.
Somebody nipple was coming out. You could see some coochie from the back. Freaking, you seeing panty shots, all type of crazy shit. Then there was a time where just physics was off the chain. The yiddies was bouncing like fucking marbles. It was crazy. Every other anime, you had some shit where a bitch will do like a double moonsault into a fucking tea bag on a nigga mouth with his mouth wide open type shit. Now, where's that at? Where?
I actually literally don't know.
Got it. Where? Where?
Locaita.
It's not there. The reason why I say that is because I remember there's two studios that are gone. The studio that made Iki Tosin and Queen's Blade is gone. That is unfortunately old news. Actually, well, this the more recent of the two. That studio is gone. That gave us those two legendary series from back in the day. And then the studio that gave us such classics like Testament Sister New Devil and Maso Gaku and HXH is gone. All of these studios gone. Keijo got canceled. All types of shit. We don't really see fan service anime like that, period, where the entire point is fan service. Like, the only one I could really think of like that is the one where the dude's mom be playing freaking MMOs and shit. But other than that, like, that just like straight balls to the wall. It's like you turn it on, something is jiggling. You seeing some type of panty shot? Nah, you don't see that type of stuff no more.
And this is
or do you think I'm crazy?
And this is problematic?
Yes, we need to be.
I'm just asking. I just work here, bro. What do you attribute that to anything, or do you think it's like a cultural shift or something? Because like the East is so much different from us. Like I could see why it would happen over here naturally because we're like mad annoying about that stuff. Like, oh god, you objectifying. But I'm sure they don't think about that stuff down there. But do you think maybe it's starting to bleed into their culture a little bit? That's the reason?
It is for sure.
Okay.
It is. I think it might be just a combination of two things. Actually, well, maybe not just two things, but multiple things. I think it might be from the increase in popularity of light novels. In the topic that I always bring up damn near every episode of the shift of mainly adapting manga into anime to now adapting light novels into anime. Now, of course, there are plenty of light novels that have fan service in it, but those aren't the ones that are getting adapted like that. The ones that are getting adapted are, the isekais and stuff like that, right? So, and then I do think that there could be a little bit of, we trying to stray away from stuff like that a little bit, just a tad bit, because I still see it. You still see it a lot in manga. At least I think so. Like Chainsaw Man's entire popularity is just his fucking female cast, right? So
that's about to come out soon.
Yep, sure is. People like to pretend like they care about much story with that, but no, it's just a female cast, right? And the fact that they think they fucking pretty and shit. So I still think it exists and it's around. It's just for whatever reason in anime, I think it's dying. And I think that is not a good thing. I contribute as one of just the things that make anime, Just when I see shit like that, I'm like, yeah, I'm watching anime. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing at all. Like, at all. I really don't think that, some fucking panty physics or some fucking titty jiggling once in every while is a bad thing at all. I mean, shit. Do we need some?
I'm joking.
Shit, I mean, do we need some shit like Iki Tosin with freaking bitches half naked fucking breaking each other's necks and shit? Yes. Yeah. Do we need freaking acidic breast milk that has such strong properties that it could melt steal within seconds.
Melone, melone.
Yes, yes, we do.
Dimoto.
But it's yeah, I don't know, man. So I mean, but this is just what do y'all think? I think I might actually be the person who's in tune with the anime the most in here. I maybe, but
I'm not at all. The last good anime I watched, original anime I watched was Psychopath season one. That was in 2013.
no. But yes, what do y'all think about that? Do y'all think that fan service has generally changed over the years? Do y'all think that is dying? Do y'all think that it
I'm
might make a comeback, so on and so forth?
I can't answer that yet. So maybe someone else can. But what I am interested in is the why, if it's true, and
I,
the
I
and
I'll tell you. I'll tell you why. That can blend in with Simi's question. Actually, I think that fan service has been removed from anime only original content, and it has been smushed together with isekai content. That's what the real problem is.
hmm,
Because when you look at all of these fucking isekai, what they always got? A big titty elf. Every single time.
Hey,
That's
that shit
always the
gas.
drawing point.
Yeah, that shit gas, but
Listen to him. But yeah, they stopped pulling their resources to making the fucking High School of the Dead, High School DxDs, and they were just like, let's throw this shit in Konosuba and fucking. That time I got reincarnated as whatever the fuck. That's where
Black
you gonna
Man.
find it.
Okay. What do you think, Vince and or Miles? I don't know if you guys are on mute. Can't see right
Uh, I think it's uh, uh, I,
now.
I think it's yeah. I think I kind of agree with Pat. It's just like the form in which it takes his change, but like
Are
the
you all right, my guy?
quantity. What?
I was asking if you were okay.
Yeah.
Aijobu.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Wait, what?
What do you think, Vince?
Uh, wait, what?
Wait, let him finish.
Oh,
Can I just not talk today?
I don't know. I thought you got your train of thought cut off when you were done. My bad. Finish. Go ahead.
uh, I was gonna say. I guess this is kind of a question for you guys. Like, when we're saying this, like, changed, like, I guess this kind of goes like the weird way of like, how do you view like anime like generations? Then I guess
We'll get there.
like generationally, like, how's it changed? Because like, if I'm looking at things like what Tsukigeki no Shoma, which is what extremely popular, and that was what like 2 years ago it finished.
hmm
That was an extremely like sexual story, and that was
Yes.
really prominent. You know what I mean? So I think it's still here. It's just one of those things where you just have to search for it if you want it, I guess.
Okay.
All right. Well, for me, I just think honestly, I just think more of a things that they're just not making them right now, rather than like they wouldn't like them, because I still think the Japanese audience, they
Yeah.
still they still go hard for that stuff. They're just not making them right now for whatever reason. Part of it is I do agree with Pat to the isekai genre a lot. Part of it I think is they're not making many like original, and they're not as many companies that are making like original or straight anime, not with no manga adaptation or nothing like that. Part of it is I think like Netflix and some of the Crunchyroll, and they be getting the animes and they be making stuff, and most of their stuff doo doo anyway. They don't be
Dude.
making nothing good. So I think it's a bunch of factors. I don't think it's like gone, because there's still probably plenty of manga and plenty of other stuff, and
Yes,
also
absolutely.
they're just not doing as many like a lot of stuff sometimes with like light novel adaptations and visual novel adaptation. They're just not doing as many of those recently either. So I still think all of those would be extremely popular, because they don't really even care what the West say anyway about making that stuff. They don't never ask for our opinion when they make this stuff. They just care about their homegrown stuff. They just not making them right now.
Okay. See what chat's saying. Anime is a chore for me to watch as I get older. I'm only peep the ones that catch wide fan interest. Okay. Let me see.
So annoying.
No. The entire as a character driven series. Denji is a relatable MC. Relatable to who?
What are y'all
That's
talking about?
that's my problem with that. Relatable to who? This time when people are like I relate to Deku. I'm like, why? I don't relate.
Sick.
I don't know, but I'm not I don't know. Anyways, back in the day at Nagima, the fan service overflow with and it was glorious. Yuki Tosin is getting a new season though. Is that true? I didn't know that.
Is it?
Past season 1 was amazing. I mean, you have Google anime. Oh, it's out already. The time I got reincarnated as a slime is great for an isekai. Channeling the evil, still the best in my opinion. If I said this already, would I finish Bubblegum Crash like a week ago? Yes, let's go. That's what I like to see.
Yeah.
Midflix has my eternal hatred for what they did to JoJo Part 6. I feel like
Absolutely.
they are aware
Down
of the
with
current
Netflix. I hope
global
HBO
want
Max
for new
puts them in
anime.
the fucking mud.
I mean, that company is going through all kinds of hell and high water because of their wokeism.
Wait, what?
But
What they do with Part 6?
They instead
don't
of
see it? We
releasing
not
the
talking about
episodes weekly.
What?
one of the
You don't-
one of the most fun things about being a JoJo like anime watcher or whatever was talking about it every week. And they did the thing where like Netflix will drop. They dropped like what 12? Like when? Like last
Yeah,
December.
they dropped 12 at first,
And then just
all
vanish
at
again.
once.
Yeah, they vanished. We gotta wait.
And then instead of releasing the next batch and schedule for what it would normally be like for the next curve, they was like, let's take a 9-month break instead. So the
That
next
animation
bunch of
better be
episodes will
crispy
come
as
out in
hell. That's what
October.
I'm saying. You take the extra time. That it better not look like how we were kind of saying the first episodes looked in terms of animation, but
Apparently they cleaned it up, but
for the Blu-ray or
still, like,
just in general. Yeah, but to get to the etchy thing, I don't know, like, cause this is I don't care, so I don't know how to answer this. Like, I'll read if I need some titty, I'll read a hentai, I'll pick up a smut. I got a lot of the comics that I read has nudity in it naturally, anyways. Like, if I need that, I know where to look. So like, I don't particularly care that it's not an anime. So like, I don't want to answer this question. I'll just be more curious to see if it's true, what the actual reasoning behind it was. Because one of the things I asked myself is I wonder if Japan had any TV rating changes in terms of law and stuff. Because that could be a reason. Because I can't remember when it happened somewhere where that was a reason why some stuff stopped being shown, because now violence was seen as like a 14 plus thing, and it used to be like kind of for everybody. So I don't know if that's that thing that happened down there. Couldn't tell you, but I know they're still around. Again, I think I agree with Timmy. Where like a lot of the manga for sure be having it, but it's not how it used to be, I guess. But again, I don't know. I don't have the information to work with, and I don't keep my ear to the ground like I used to. I used to kind of be in the know without being in the know. I don't do that anymore. I don't care. I'm gonna say I don't have the capacity. I just don't care. I don't watch anime like that. I really don't. Ask Sydney, he'll tell you all I play is 2 Pixel and I watch Dingy. So
Yup. Yes, sir. Dingy. Dingy need 2 pixel.
exactly. And that's Danhua, by the way, the Chinese animation. Okay. So, how long is too long? What do we classify as too short and too long for a series? So we got anime, we got anime, manga, and or light novels. What are we thinking? What's too long? What's too short? Because I think we all have differing opinions on this. Where it's like some of these anime are like we don't like the way they're released because sometimes it's not long form. Like, what are we thinking? We'll start with you, Simi.
Oh yes, this is indeed another one of my topics. Of course, now this one is a way more nuanced question because we have like at least 4 different mediums to work with. All right, but generally speaking, I think a good length for a manga, and well, I should guess I say for shonen manga. That's what I usually read. So for shonen manga, anyways, I would say about. Oh, you see, you are just a child. You only read things for little kids. You see me with the big brain. I read the big boy stuff. Therefore, I am more mature than you. Yeah, okay. I would say a good length is about 200 through like 330 chapters. I think that's a good length. If we go by 13 13 pages per chapter to come out weekly. I think that's a pretty decent length for a weekly shonen manga. Now, of course, things that are monthly is different. I would say for a monthly series, a good length is like somewhere between 70 through like 90. I don't even think they need to hit 100. And for light novels, shit, there's no reason why any light novel should be going like fucking 30 volumes plus, if you ask me.
Index. Index. Nigga, you guys know I love that shit, but Jesus
Yup.
Christ, Kazuma, I'm tired, bro. I'm so fucking exhausted. I can't keep doing this. Well, I said like I didn't already stop. I stopped. I can't keep doing this. I'm done.
He couldn't keep doing it. He actually tapped out. But yeah, for light novels, I would say like, some like 14 to like 25 volumes is pretty good. Now, of course, it all depends on like how big of the world and the type of story you try to tell in said light novel, but I really don't think these light novels should be running for freaking 30 plus, 40 plus volume. I'm like, bro, there's no way you got that much to write. You full of shit. Yeah, I'm lying.
I don't believe you.
And then in the realm of anime, I would say, well, again, it also depends, but a nice, 25, 24 episode anime is cool. I do like 50 plus episode anime when they're adapting series that have the chapters for it.
Okay.
Right.
Makes sense to me.
So yeah, if they're adapting something that has like 300 chapters and the adaptation is like 50 episodes, I'm perfectly fine with that. I think that's cool. Now, of course, this isn't to say that I dislike long running series. That's a big fucking cap. I literally fucking read One Piece. So like, come on, right? I actually really like long running series because I think when series are, well, usually anyways, the time that's used within those chapters is worth it and whatnot, to put it shortly. But yeah, this is not to say that I dislike long run series. That is a big fat disclaimer. Do not ever classify me as the rest of them goons that are like, oh well, the second it go past 2 core, I ain't watching no more. Da 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 that type shit. Don't associate me with them fucking forum burgers, alright? But yeah, I think those are some good numbers, and of course, and it also depended on the genre. I don't freaking read romance series, but I actually 101% agree with Vince that no romance manga should be going past like fucking 130 chapters.
They're not built for that. They just get some nonsense of nothing happening for so goddamn long. It's super annoying.
And especially since a lot of them, they don't go through the entire lives of the characters. It just stays in like fucking high school. You see, it's not like Claned where it follows this nigga entire life from school all the way into fucking adulthood, right? It's not like that. They just stay in 1 year of high school. And you're doing this for 200 something chapters? And they just going to school every day? Oof. Yeah, it does. Yeah, no.
Well, with no nuance. With no nuance. None. Just doing burger shit.
I'm feeling a statement coming on.
What do my brothers have to say?
All I'm saying is, I already went to school. I do not want to watch or read a series where the focus is school.
They don't even really even be in school. That's the problem. They not even doing school stuff. Like, yeah, they be in the school, but they don't even do nothing for the school. They just be looking at each other all googly eyed and, ooh, do they like me? I hope they like me. And then let's not talk about it. And let's not talk to each other. And we don't know anything about each other because we don't talk. They stink, boy. Oh my goodness. Get it together, man. They just, geez Louise, half of them. They don't know what they're doing. Like, man, I be reading some of this stuff, and I'm just like, have the people who write this, have y'all talked to other human beings? There's no way. There's no way you just sat in class all day, huh? And you just went to class and like even part of people like me and C part of Go Home Club. We still talk to people while we were there at least. They don't even do that. Like they just avoid each other and just do a bunch of nonsense. You gotta wait 10 years and for somebody else to come into the picture before you make a move. That's insane.
Tragic. Tragic.
Here's what I'll say, right? So I'm a fan of brevity, so I don't like nothing that's long, honestly, right? Oh, the inevitable, but you're a One Piece fan. I've been a One Piece fan for more than half my life. If I started it today, I wouldn't read it. All right, now that that's out the way, I definitely agree with the romance angle where like I all of my favorite romance manga and stuff are not particularly that long. They got a story to tell. They tell it, they wrap it up, and we move on. It doesn't drag. It doesn't linger. We don't have the stupid like we're aimlessly doing a bunch of nothing and not talking and just oh well now here's the part where one of the partners have a bunch of sex with a bunch of other people or whatever, and we're just sad like ugh just wrap it up. So I think within 200 chapters, more often than not, especially if it's weekly, I guess, you should be done. If it's like monthly or whatever, I think maybe like 100-ish is the goal. But I don't think there's necessarily a right length for anything. You tell the story you want to tell, and then you stop. My actual issue is I think a lot of stories reach kind of their natural conclusion or what they were going to do originally, but maybe because of popularity or other variables or outside external factors, they continue the story or they elongate or prolong it. And I think sometimes you can tell. And I know I'm gonna just drift off to webtoons for a second because webtoons definitely have this problem, the slice of life ones. How many webtoons that have like a slice of life element or component just become aimless for like 60 chapters or not doing a goddamn thing? That includes An Ordinary, that includes Girls of the Wilds. You think about even Noblesse, and that's more action oriented, right? There are just these parts where it's like we're not doing anything, and I'm like, to me, it's like better to wrap it up and dip if you don't got nothing to fucking showcase. That makes sense. So I like Death Note a lot because Death Note came and it went. That creative team did not prolong it longer than it needed to be in my opinion. I don't think Death Note was made to be a 200 chapter manga or whatever the case is. I'm happy that it wrapped it the way that it did. I think more stories need to do that. I do think a lot of them end up getting coerced or sucked into continuing because of things like popularity or editor pressure or whatever the case is, and I don't like that. I'm a fan of watching stuff like Adventure Time, Under the Garden Wall, and things of that nature because they tell me an entire episode's worth of beginning, middle, and conclusion within 11 minutes. I'm a fan of that. I'm old as shit. I'm 30, right? And
Oh, bro, you're not.
yes, I am. I'm 30. What's the title say? I'm 30, and I don't got time like that. And if I do, it's like I think someone said earlier, like I gotta no you didn't. You said you watch stuff with a lot of fan interest. I don't care about. I gotta watch something that I personally am very interested in, or think might have a good premise. I don't really watch anime anymore. I don't. All the stuff that you see me like, even if you look at my openings, it's mostly like Danhua. You see Scissor 7, you see Legend of Hay, you see 100,000 Bad Jokes, you see like Big Fish Begonia, you see like all those things. That's what I'm more into. I'm not really into like anime does not move me anymore, and I think that Japan has been surpassed by multiple countries in the animation department. They're not. I personally never necessarily thought they were the best, like some other people did, but I definitely think they're being outdone by a lot of like. I'm gonna throw France in there. I'm gonna throw France. I'm gonna throw China.
Don't give them that. Don't give it. Not them.
I'm sorry, bro.
Not them.
There's like a couple of cool ones that I saw from like the Middle East and stuff. Like, I just branched out, I guess, worldwide. I don't know. And then as for what I'm reading, you guys know I'm a comic book guy, not necessarily a manga guy. So like my comics that I read a lot tend to be done within 100 issues. That's fine for me. But yeah. I think, again, you tell the story you want to tell and then you wrap it up. But, like, again, certain things I do not think are created with the idea and the capability to be sustained for a long time, like Detective Conan. Personally, I got about 200 chapters in and said, there's just no way you ain't figured this shit out by now. I checked out mentally. Niseko is another one, stuff like that. I'm like, bro, no, we're not doing this for 100 million chapters. No, nothing is happening. Like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna admit my feelings. I in a fucking truck drives by and honks at maximum volume, and now I don't want to say it again. I'm not doing this. This is not good storytelling. It's mid. I'm done. Someone else go.
All right. So, how long is too long? Well, light novels. I haven't began my light novel journey yet. One day.
Oh shit. Sorry, light novels. Yeah, stop, Kazuma. I'm tired. Yo, Nisho Easy. I'm looking at you too. You better wrap up Monogatari, bro. I'm not doing this with this series either. Stop. Now I'm done.
I ain't started light novels yet, so I can't speak about light novels. Manga, I think it kind of depends on the genre, to be honest. Shonen, I feel like most of the time it could be longer because just from the sheer amount of characters and side characters and just creativity that a lot of those put into that, so I don't really mind. They don't necessarily feel overly long. They can feel pretty long when you read them week to week, but like when you read the whole thing, it's usually pretty cool. Even if there is some stretches here and there. Their problems is for a lot of things just be ending. Because to me, what's always so strange is that you have some of these stories that be going as long as they do, and the endings still feel rushed. That's so insane to be like if we're going to these lengths, then you shouldn't be rushing the ending. That's insane. But anyway, uh, I think it's a very genre dependent thing. I think it's a creativity and how you're doing the nuance because a lot of the things is a lot of I would say manga is a very character driven medium in general. Like honestly, that I would argue probably it. I don't saying that it should be, but for most manga, it's the most important thing. And if you're gonna do that, and you're gonna make these things long, or they're gonna go a certain length, the characters need to be interesting, and you have to be interesting enough to give them enough interest for it to do that. But how long is too long? And I'm probably fine with most manga being around somewhere between like 150 to like 250. And I think that's a good length for most things. There are obviously things that can be shorter or go above that, but to me, that's about right for most things. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
I feel it. Pat.
Okay, light novels. I do not read, but I have no input on that. Um, Manga. Most of the stuff that I love personally is long-winded. I
Yep.
do appreciate that. So I'm in agreement with Simi where I feel like 300 to even 400 really is good. But it depends on how you're writing the story. Like if it's an adventure, I don't mind if you take as much time as you need to get shit out the way. I do have the same sentiment as Naya, where sometimes I feel like there are some stories where you could have wrapped it up sooner, and then you're just still going. The easy example of this is Dragon Ball. Buu Saga is completely unnecessary to me. I mean, I still had fun with it. Don't get me wrong, but if it would have ended at Cell Saga, that would have been the perfect finish. And honestly, even if it ended it at the end of Namek, that would have been really good too. Um, there are some series though, like it's a fine line where they do run long, but then somewhere along the way, the creator just is like, "All right, I'm gonna finish it." And I'm just like, "Bro, you left so many questions." Um, I kind of feel this way about Gameron, where Gameron was going strong for like 200 plus chapters, and then towards the ending, they like were speeding it up. Now, I guess Japan wasn't feeling it. I don't know why, because that shit goes hard. But
That's a fact. All right, continue.
yeah, most of the stuff I like One Piece, Kingdom, all that shit is like 600 chapters plus, and I'm enjoying it every week. So that shit's really good. Uh, Anime again. When I was growing up, if your anime
Shit.
wasn't 100 episodes long, I was not looking at that shit.
Hey.
Like,
Woo! He took it. He said, "I am
I'm
the
looking
final level."
Oh shit! I didn't
at
speak
a
on anime. But I'm gonna
long
wait for you to
time.
finish. I'm, I'm gonna let you finish, but I forgot to speak on anime because I actually gotta feel this because how much me and Simi watched anime during the pandemic.
Yeah, like I'm talking when I was really young though. Like all the stuff that I was watching, like Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball, Bleach, Naruto, there was 100 episodes long a piece. So I was like, yeah, if it's 100 episodes long, it's raw, it's certified, it stood the test of time. That means it's good. I'm watching.
I love it.
But as I got to like my teenage years, obviously I've told the story about Death Note so many times. I was like, these niggas not fighting, but I'm so intrigued. I'm moved. And it wasn't that long. I was like, okay, maybe it don't got to be 100 episodes long. Be good. And I settled on 25 as the floor. Is the bare minimum. If it's not 25 episodes long, it has to be an extremely special story for me to even think about watching it. Um, yeah. So long anime, good, but they don't do that anymore. It's all about seasons now, making y'all niggas wait. I hate that for y'all new niggas.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's awful. Like I like it's shit, dog. Like I can't imagine
It's
waiting to get your favorite series adapted and that shit.
I would
Oh,
argue the
one
issue is
curve.
that it's not necessarily any better animated.
Yo,
Like
actually, I'll say it's worse.
it's not. Well, actually, I can't say that for sure. I don't know, but I definitely wouldn't say it's like demonstrably better. So it's like you would think with the time they're taking, because you're not constantly on a week schedule, and they had to have you one basically almost like one real big like pre-production kind of meeting. I find it funny because I'm like, they don't even look any better. Like like if it at least looks so much better every time, I'd be like, at least this is the pro of this. You gotta wait, but you're getting it at better quality, which I argue it's not any different than if you just watched like, even Dragon Ball
especially
Super for like
since
100 or whatever episodes. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
especially since they're not even hand drawing this shit anymore. It's all on the fucking computer. Like you got extra time. You're not doing it manually. Like, why is the quality not dramatically better? I watch the seasons of My Hero Academia and I just shake my head because I think to myself, this is really Studio Bones. They're just unrecognizable to me.
I think I agree with you for that.
And when I say
For
that, I'm
that.
not saying like they're doing a bad job, but they're not going above and beyond, which is the point of an anime adaptation.
Supposed to kind of market the manga. It's kind of like an advertisement for it.
Yeah, that's the thing I wanted to say. That's a tangent to this specific topic. But I really feel like when it comes to adapting source material, it's not even about adapting the source material anymore to its completion. It's just more so about being an advertisement for said source material. So you have so
See,
many things that just have one cur or the curs in between each other are like years apart
See, I
and
feel like
whatnot.
it's been like that though, especially since the mid 2000s. Cause pretty much all the bad anime that we watch, quote unquote, well, for us, no, I'm not even like quote unquote, it was bad. But a lot of the bad stuff that we watched, a lot of stuff was 12 episodes. And a lot of it starts off good. The first three episodes are at least interesting. And then that 4 through 8, 4 through 9 stretch, everything
And I
just
think
fall
four,
off the map.
They're
10.
not doing a goddamn thing.
Yeah, it just fall off the complete map. So yeah, 12, 13 episode anime for the most part, I think on average, I think it's ridiculously trash. Because
My issue has always been probably not the same as yours. I just like I think I've said it before. Like I feel like
You have.
when we get to like episode 10, 11, 12, they machine gun
Yup.
fire the entire
Mm-hmm.
plot. They just
that's
purposely withheld
exactly.
from you for no good reason.
But they do that all the time. Like if you see 12 episodes, that's almost always what happens.
Mhm.
And
Like
it's not
first
original.
three is good, yeah.
Yeah.
First three good, and then they just be like, we just gonna Twitter our thumbs for the next like 6, 7 episodes.
Because mind
The
you,
last two we're gonna try to wrap it up.
you guys know I love Magic Madoka, but Jesus Christ, there was a point when I was watching. I'm like, what are we gonna do anything? Like, no. Then I hit like episode 9, and it's like now we'll do everything. I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah,
that was
but they
jarring.
all do that. There's 12. So I think being 12, I think 12 is too short for any anime. Honestly, I
think if it's an
believe that.
original and you have a very specific story to tell, it could work. But
Yeah, like Katana Gatari, they did it well.
well,
I was intrigued. Plus,
that's a light novel adaptation though.
yeah, but it's we talk about anime, so
Mhm.
I just threw it in there. But still, like they did it well, and on top of that, the episodes were hours long.
It was monthly though. They did every month. I don't know if you know that because they did one for each sword, so it's monthly.
Yeah, I watched it all in one sitting.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying that's I'm the
I feel like most anime.
I'm the resident Nisio guy. I'm just being.
See, I feel like 18 a weird number, but most anime needs to get to like some 18-20 range.
I
Like
guess
all of them don't necessarily be 24, 25, but it needs to at least get to like 18,
might
20.
not work with the way that like I guess what add like the literal seasons work and
Yeah,
how many
because it goes
weeks-
by
how many-
seasons.
how many-
Yeah.
how many weeks you have. I think that'd be the issue. But I hear
They
you.
just need to do it all in one season. They better get it together, boy.
Yeah, because a season is 3 months. It's
Marvel
12
does
weeks.
the same with their miniseries. 6 episodes not enough. I can't. Marvel.
Uh-oh.
MCU stuff.
But yeah, anime. Uh, if it's long, it's good. If it's short, it gotta be special for me to peep. If it's 25 episodes long, it passed the cutoff for me wanting to watch it.
He said it passed the diamond tester.
Yeah. Webtoons. Webtoons have to stop
Existing.
trying to add more
Yup.
shit when it's already done.
Koreans need to be stopped.
They have to stop it. Like I was reading God of High School, and I'm just like, okay, it's okay. Not the greatest thing I've ever read, but the fights are getting better and better as I'm reading. So I was like, I'll stick around. Got to a point where Jin Mori came back after being missing for like 150 something chapters.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
Oh yeah.
I'm reading. I was like, oh yeah, the boy back. Let's go. He fighting. The fight's great. It looks like the whole conflict has been resolved. Then fucking Park Boo-jin go and fucking betray them, and then fucking they reset the universe. I was like,
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
No, I'm
there,
done.
you know,
I'm
you
done.
know what
I
we gonna
finished.
do? We gonna start over. What? I said no. I'm not reading this. No, I'm not
The
reading this.
funniest thing
This is a DC
about
comic.
the,
What the hell?
the funniest thing about Pat bringing that up is that freaking God of High School just ended this month.
It's done.
Well,
Yes.
it ended for me a long time ago. So
Still, the
Yeah.
fact, but the fact that he did that just gave me nightmares for like weeks. Man, I was
That's
like,
what-
oh yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna start over.
That's
I was like, yeah,
that's
you know what?
A
We
lot
out.
of people told me they quit. I didn't get that far. When Jin Mori's clone was having an existential crisis, and like
That was funny as shit.
when
too.
the
I couldn't
further away
believe
it was from him or whatever, I'm like, this shit ass.
That looked like something that came out my night terrors.
But
Like, oh, you
but
having
you
an
guys know me with
existential
God of High
crisis?
School. I like the beginning fights. As soon as they started like doing dragons and shit, I'm like, I don't know, it's not moving me.
Didn't necessarily care, but my thing is, I already could tell from when he started doing it. This was on a scale that was way too big. But it go back to webtoons in general. They be twiddling their thumbs a lot. Yeah, especially with anything that has a very large slice of life element to it. They just twiddle their thumbs. They just be sitting there and be like, there's just I don't know if they had a clear plan, they threw it out because like you said, popularity and readership and stuff like that, and they just scared to execute what they wanted to, or they just get to a point they were just like, I started it, but I really didn't know where to go with it. Like they didn't have a plan.
I think I'll
ahead
get
of
this
time.
far. You ever see that those like memes like, oh, like, hey, you're cute. Like, oh, like, what do you want to do? Like, I honestly didn't think I'd get this far. Like,
Yeah,
it's like one of
I can't tell which one it is. I can't because there's no reason. I don't remember the name of it. Let me go look at it real quick. But shoot, I can even say this for this one, like Windbreaker and some of these. There's no reason they should be going on that long. Oh, lookism.
Windbreaker at least I'm lenient on because they're following the tournament still. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They at least got that. But like something like
the
lookism,
slice of life elements,
no reason.
they're dragging their feet with. So I agree with you on that. But I know that the overarching plot is still like
listen,
a visionary picture. So I let them
Rivera
go.
exists. Line webtoon and like Naver specifically, they're done. They're done. We've seen the pinnacle. Nothing will be better. It's okay.
Yeah, they just it's not good. It's not good. There's no reason they should be dragging that stuff that long. And like I didn't even it was funny before I read webtoons, I didn't even know that was like a thing for these kind of media. Because normally we talk about things being too fast, and with these fools, it takes them 6 weeks to move an inch with some of these plot points, and that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be a balance between these two things that just neither one seems to be able to reach all the time. Anime get towards the ending, they hand be falling off. I mean, manga they hand be falling off. They got arthritis. they dying, they got the flu and all
Appleton.
sorts of shit.
Yeah.
They just trying to wrap it up so they could stop dying, actually get some help. And then in webtoons, they just be like, I'm gonna just make this longer, and this longer, and I'm not gonna tell y'all anything about any of this plot line, even though I brought it
I
up.
don't
We're
think
just
that
not
people
gonna talk about it.
understand that John is very upset about the hierarchy in ordinary. I think we need 60 chapters.
Oh yeah, talk
Damn,
about
she
it.
dragged her feet with that.
God damn.
Yeah, no reason.
But Miles, your thoughts?
Yes. Uh, I don't think there is a perfect answer. I agree with all of you. I think in most respects when it comes to this. I'm kind of weird in the sense like I could probably read an infinite story and be fine. Like length doesn't bother me. I would say maybe length could somewhat inhibit me from initially starting a story, but that's only just like for the sake of time and just trying to find the proper time to start it. Uh, I would agree with the notion about like romance and stuff where it's more so predicated on just make sure you're using your time wisely and efficiently. As long as you're doing that, I don't care. So please don't drag and please don't be fast. Epos 1300 chapters and I'm completely unbothered by the length. Uh, Kingdom's long. I'm unbothered. I think most fantasies should be relatively long, uh, and I'm completely fine with those things. Uh, and I guess I'm weird because I don't read Japanese light novels. I'm far more of a Chinese light novel guy, of like Zanzia, Zanwans, and like Wuxias,
Mm-hmm.
and those are exceptionally long stories of like you have things that are
Cultivation.
like yeah, those are 3,000 plus chapters like stories and shit. So like and I can read those and like it doesn't bother me. So to me, it's just about please be efficient and care. Like a good example, I think of something that should have been far longer is Magi.
You think so?
Magi should have been a 600 chapter uh, manga, in my personal opinion.
Okay.
If we're doing,
But
oh, well,
adding these episode of Sinbad or the Sinbad Adventure of Sinbad, sorry. Does that help you in any way or still no?
I still actually have to finish it. I think it does help, but not in the respect that I would want. I think it helps give context, I guess, the way in which certain things came up, especially like with like people first getting like the gen equips and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still a process of like one. I know in Sinbad you do get to view cultures, but like when we're talking about world building, I want to see truly if we're gonna have a place where there's 6 countries, 6 states, multiple cities or whatever. Show me the cultures of each area, how those influence people, and then just interactions of those things, right? So I want to see Alibaba and Aladdin go through these things. I want to see Aladdin uh, potentially choosing other king vessels. How does that all work? We got to see a really good thing with Alibaba's country getting taken over and
Mm-hmm.
communism coming out and seeing the economic part of that. There's it's such a free flowing story that you could have gone any way and really expanded upon it. Same thing if we do Tower of God. If Tower of God was a story in which it was being true to what SIE presented it to be, which is you have 134 floors. Each floor is as big as North America, and each floor has its own unique culture and groups of people and stuff. He could make one of the longest running stories of all time, and it could be fine.
Yep.
But
You have to be
he
competent.
he's kind of dropped the ball. I think one of his biggest issues. I kind of said this with Glam. I think he should have had like True Blue like extra writers along with him, like side writers or whatever, in which he could allocate certain floors or certain cultures for people to do, and he can just be like the overseer. I think that would alleviate a lot of his own personal pressure. But yeah, I so to me it's just let's just be mindful of like the way in which you're presenting the story and just be efficient with it. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to say one final thing before we move on, since we did stay a very long time on this topic. That I am 101% the same camp as Pat, where all of my favorites, excluding Haruhi, is long. So I gravitate towards long stuff just like him. Kinnikuman is long, both the anime and the manga.
Mm-hmm.
Fate is long, and Haruhi being the only exception, with it that being like what 12, 13 volumes. So yeah, I all of my
I don't remember. I haven't read past the first one.
so I own all of them, but yeah, all of my favorites are long. I tend to gravitate towards long stuff, and I actually 101% agree with Miles where fantasy series they generally should be long because you have an entire world that you have to build, and if you're
Okay.
building that, you have to show it to me.
I
All
feel
right,
that.
so
Yeah.
Yeah, no more fake world building, please. We gotta
Yeah.
be real about what you're showing.
Yeah.
See, my thing is, I don't really care about length at all. Length ain't never scared me or bothered me. Cause I literally read anything. I be reading people's stuff, and the people be like, "Why you be reading that?" I'm like, "Just because I want to. I just read because I feel like reading." My thing is, it's just that when I'm always looking, especially for a manga a lot these days, it's just interest. I just want you if you're gonna keep making the story longer, just keep my attention. Just keep doing new and interesting things. Even if you're not the greatest writer in the world, you have some problems with your nuance and certain things. If you could at least just be interesting with your designs, with your concepts, with what you're bringing to the table, like that's like cool. Like that's enough to keep things going. The problem is sometimes it just literally feels like these guys run out of things to do, and that's the problem.
Mm.
It's not interesting. Even if you're doing a long series, like if it just looked like something else, I don't really see the point. Or just like and because a lot of these guys are not good enough to do like Kubera type writing tactics where they're tying stuff back in the stuff that happened 100 chapters ago. They don't. A lot of them don't have that ability, or if they do, they ain't never shown it. So if you're not gonna do nothing like that, you got to keep bringing new things to the table, and they just don't. A lot of them. So
Or
I'll
wrap
be able
it
to help
up.
you like
I'm sorry.
yeah.
I'm sorry, Chad. I've been not. Hold on. Does anyone here like Mid Hero? I don't dislike it. I just know that right now nothing particularly that I care about or exciting is happening. But I don't know. I don't care about My Hero. Is the best way for me to just answer that. But I don't
I
think
am a
I
it's,
fan of My Hero. Yes,
I don't think it's
I like
bad
My
though.
Hero, but to me, it didn't reach that next level. I told East that too. I was like, My Hero. I think it had a good start. I think it went up a level, but it never reached that next level for me. It never took full advantage of I think the opportunity that it had with the children and some of the nuanced stuff because it talked about some things that I like, but it didn't reach that next level. So
Yeah. So I can I do a little spiel about My Hero? My Hero is kind of like a perfect example of this, I think, where there was relatively no point in having a classroom based off in the manner in which the story is told. I think the classroom is relatively pointless. Most of the characters aren't interesting. Most of the characters don't have real focus. The adults are far more interesting and complex than the kids, which is pointless. And then we've seen series such as Assassination Classroom that has a larger class deal with each student far better than them. I My Hero I think just dropped the ball on a lot of aspects of what it wanted to do.
All right.
I agree with that.
Sorry, Hirokoshi. It is what it is. I
You're
think
not a
Webtoon
bad
should
writer, though.
finish up in 100 chapters.
no, he's
generally.
not. He just didn't
Okay.
take full advantage of what he had, and I think
I don't know how crazy the power scaling goes in God of High School. I stopped reading it a long time ago.
It goes really, really high.
It's downright
Lost Child
outrageous.
asked you if you ever read something called Miles, something read called Emperor's Dominion Domination. Sorry.
The Emperor's Domination. Yeah, I told him I'd stopped around chapter 3200. I just waited for like more shit to stack before I go back into it.
Oh, okay. And no, revisionist history. I'll do it next week. I know I bailed on Fairy Tail. I wasn't moving me, but okay.
I used to read all those long Chinese manga. All they be doing is cultivating.
Mhm.
And I read like
The
eight
light
of
novel,
those.
the light novels are a lot better because the mangas usually change a lot of bullshit and make it just really, really worse. No, I can't really tell you that
Do you
Chinese
guys
writing.
consider
It's
Legend of
not
the
really
Galactic
that
Heroes a
great.
long anime? Just out of curiosity.
doesn't have
Never.
a
Like
lot of.
100. Don't you got like 100 chapters? I mean, 100 episodes.
Yeah.
Something like that?
I'm just asking.
Oh, no.
It doesn't have multiple like it's like not multimedia, but doesn't have like multiple iterations too.
I actually died. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I didn't mean to open that can of worms up. I did not know that.
He was like, I don't know.
But yeah, I classify that as a long anime.
Okay.
To answer the question.
Mm. And if something is if something is broken up into seasons, but in totality it reaches a certain level, a certain number of episodes, does that still count to you, or it has to be like
Yes,
ongoing?
Yeah,
yes. It's
I
just
think,
the
to be, yeah.
experience is the problem. Like they don't get to watch it all at once or grow
Yeah,
with it.
it's not the same as how we used to watch it in the past. Yeah, I do agree with that because you might have to wait like a year or 2 years. It's almost like you're watching
I'm
like an
reminded of Attack on
individual.
Titan fans waiting as long as they had to wait for like that next whatever season.
Yeah,
And,
Attack on
that's
Titan,
ridiculous.
the
that's
final season,
yeah.
the
And
final
then
season part
it
2,
almost feels like a
final
different
season part
anime
3.
too when you switch to anime style or whatever. That's weird.
Okay. So I actually like this question. Is generic a bad thing? And you added the mystique of mid that hits. We get to that, but sometimes you'll hear someone say something in a story is generic, and is that inherently a good or bad thing? What do you guys think?
Hell no.
Well, go
So
ahead.
yeah, wow, hold on. Well, this we just going through all my topics. I thought you had three, Yeti. We just get me out of the way first, and maybe you was thinking about my time restraints. But well, just before I start us off, yeah, Legend of Galactic Heroes is actually a really long series
Okay.
for no reason because the an actual mainline light novel is only 10 volumes, yet it has a 60-minute
I
OVA
actually
film.
did not know it was an adaptation of anything. I thought it was an original. I didn't know that.
Nope. The light novel is only 10 volumes. However, it has a movie that's 60 minutes, and then the OVA, which runs for 110 episodes. And then another movie that's another 60 minutes, and another movie that's 90 minutes.
Okay.
Another one.
Fair enough.
So it's like, yeah, and another OVA that
Another
has
one.
19
Yup.
episodes. And another OVA that has
Another
26
one.
episodes.
Yup. I was waiting for you to get them all out the way because I seen the list. I was like, he's missing some.
Yeah, no, there's still more. There's like 3 more movies and
Yup.
like 1 more anime. So yeah, that shit is long.
Yeah, that's a no from
But
me.
yeah, again, as I started us off, I plan on one of the things I want to do this year was watch anime. I have so many Blu-rays, so many anime series that are critically acclaimed that I ignored growing up, so on and so forth. So many Blu-rays that I have, so many anime that I have on my hard drive that's been collecting digital dust for how long. I want to watch anime, right? But again, another obligation I have first, then anime. Reason why I bring up anyways, the reason why I bring this up is because I am actually super duper excited to watch the anime adaptation of Law of Ueki. I watched the opening recently, and the first opening is absolutely fucking gas. I watch that shit once a day. I watch that shit before I go to sleep. That opening is so fire. I can't wait to watch the anime, right? And it's 50 episodes. I'm like, yo, this shit gonna be gas.
Mhm.
Then there's another Blu-ray that I have for that I'm really, really looking forward to watching. And I want to read the manga so bad, but it's unfortunate because the 2000 series. So them scan later, they did not fucking scan that shit at all. They got like 20 chapters and that's it. It's a series called Tokyo Underground, right? Which also has another fire opening. And I'm looking in the comments and they was like, yo, this shit kind of generic, but I like it. Do this, do that. And that's what brought about this topic.
Mhm.
What is the need of people saying that something is generic? I don't think that something being generic is necessarily a bad thing at all. Or if something is generic that you should not enjoy, or it automatically brings down its value, so to speak.
Well, what
Right?
do they say for the term generic? See, we got to be
You
clear.
see,
We go say something generic. What is
they
that?
don't
What are
even
we
know what
talking
they mean
about?
themselves. There's
Because
so
to
many
me,
times.
when I say that, I'm like, oh, like if I'm talking about like isekai generic, because they all copying each other. They all doing the exact same thing. But that's different from probably what they talking about. But go ahead. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah, the majority of the time I see people saying that something is generic, they don't even know what they mean by that. They'll say, okay, this is generic, and then I'll say, okay, now list 5 other things that's like it, and then I don't know. So then how is it fucking generic? Right? But that's not even to say that what they're saying isn't generic, but how are you saying that this is generic, but you can't list other things that have done this? It's
Okay,
silly,
yeah, so
right?
I'll say it like this. I think people have a problem sometimes of saying that certain things have similar themes or concept because a lot of things are,
I was
especially
just
if
about
you're
to say
writing
that.
if you're writing a certain genre, they're trying to do similar things. They do it differently though. Like if you're writing a fantasy, a lot of them have the chosen hero concept. You can quote unquote say that's generic, but everybody does it differently. It's just that they all have the same, maybe kind of like end goal, but depending on how you write the story, it's a boy or a girl. What type of journey are they going on? Do we change perspectives? Do we get a new character? Do they die? Do they resurrect? Do they never lose? Do they lose all the time? It's different depending on how you write it. Now, if I say something generic like Isekai, for example, or just like how they do it, Isekai, it's because it all feels like they're following the exact same formula. Now, they might have some, and even then, it's not completely the same, but you can see that they're all following a similar script, and that's a problem. I'm like, y'all not doing nothing to go against this, to go against my expectations. What do they call it? I forgot the word. They say it all the time when they talk about subvert. Yeah, they say it all the time with Games of Thrones, and subvert my expectations and to throw me off and be like, oh, I didn't see that coming. They don't do that enough. And then we had a lot of stuff with tropes. Like if you're gonna watch a seasonal anime, especially one that has to do with school, as you know, it's gonna be some new girl come in. You know the main character. All of a sudden, he gonna look out the window. I'm bored with my life. He looked to the right. The girl walked through the door. He think it's the finest thing he ever seen. And then then we spend the next 10 episodes between the childhood friend being like, "Oh my gosh, this new girl gonna take my man," and all stuff like that. So it just kind of depends how you look at it. But there's nothing wrong with stuff being generic. And like I said, it's just how is this specific writer going to bring something new to this table? What are they gonna do that's different? That's all I want to know. That's why that's why I read most manga. I'm like, I don't really care. It's good enough for me. Just bring something new to the table.
I think I was able to target what they mean by generic, and it's not even what Vince just listed. It's people say I think when talking about anime and manga, they say generic when things aren't deep.
That
But
too.
yeah, I don't
That's not what that fucking word means at all.
exactly.
Yeah.
When things are simple or not complex or more deep, if you will, that's when people call things generic, right? That's what I tend to notice because, like, I was looking up the Mal page for the manga for Flame of Recca and Mayor, and then I seen someone who was like, "Oh, he's all right, but he kind of too shonen, too generic." And I'm like, what exactly does that mean? So just because he writes series where it doesn't open your fucking third eye and your brain expand and shit, and they could just be fighting the majority of the time, it's too shonen, whatever that means. It's
You know
too
what though?
generic.
You know what people don't do either. Sometimes they don't take into account when stuff is written. Like Mare and all that stuff is like old. Like that's not new stuff. Most of the people who wrote those comics weren't even alive probably when that shit came out, or barely
Nope,
alive.
nope.
So how you gonna say it's generic when you probably ain't even seen that before? Especially a
So
lot of them dudes.
yeah, that and I like the common denominator I see when I look at people on the internet say that something's generic when in this whole anime manga spectrum is that it's simple or surface level, if you will. It's not more complex, or they say it's generic, which,
Don't
as Yeti said, is not the fucking definition of the word.
don't forget the most important part. If something is popular, it's
Oof.
generic.
Yup. So that's the very strange thing. There's nothing wrong with being generic, right? Or even,
Inherently.
yeah, inherently. There is just because something is generic doesn't automatically make it bad or lower its quality. And I mean, it's something that irritates me. But of course, in my old age and how long I've been on the fucking internet, I know to just roll my eyes and keep it push it. But yeah, it's one of the things that I notice. It's just like, oh boy, look at this person. You're so cool. You're saying that this fucking shonen series is generic. So I guess you got more maturity than me.
Uh, there's a lot to unpack here.
I love it.
Where do I start?
Anywhere.
Oh no, I'm literally trying to sort my own thoughts out. We'll start with if you don't have an extensive archive to compare it to, you can't call something generic. That's something that bothers me a lot too. Don't watch 4 anime and tell me something's generic. You don't have an extensive enough archive to actually compare it to see how things are different. right? So the reason why I can call a lot of things uninspired, generic, and unoriginal is because I have an extensive palette of different stories from different time periods, different places, different medias, different whatever the case. Like I read shit from Europe, I read shit in different languages, as a matter of fact, right? So I have a lot to compare to. So that's why a lot of times it's hard to impress me. And I'll say you copy and pasted this character. This is the calm, cool, collected genius. I'm sleep because if you're not gonna do something, it's like you're not gonna do something interesting with it. To me, it just comes off as uninspired. Like Vince was saying with the isekai stuff, the problem isn't necessarily that it's isekai. It's just like you guys have obviously found a formula that seems to be working for a lot of people, so you're gonna replicate it. That's very normal in any industry. Oh, battle royales are the thing. Make 100 million battle royales. But if you're just making a battle royale to make a battle royale to kind of cash in on it, what you're going to create is something very derivative, uninspired, and generic. And that's when I use the word because it's like, okay, Kobe and Jordan have similar play styles because obviously it's a formula that works. You saw Jordan be very successful with it, correct? I'm not gonna call people who do fadeaways generic. It's a fucking move that works in the game if you practice it enough, and you could, right? Like, and and you use it well, right? It's all about the intent for me. So sometimes I think an author just does something because they solely believe it'll go well with the audience and it's not actually in line and in tandem with the type of character they want to make. I make stupid, dumb Goku archetype character. People like Kamehameha go boom, boom. No! Make the fucking nigga you want to make. I don't want this shit. I don't need copy 265 of Goku. It isn't work. I'm not interested in that. I really don't want to see it. So I know that everything. I know, like we've been telling stories and narratives and literature for like for how I don't even know. I don't know since I'm just gonna say since antiquity, but so like everything has been done to some degree in some shape or form, or you've touched on different genres and blah 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 yada yada. But at the end of the day, you as an individual have your own personal life experiences, socialization, and things that you've gone through, and I want to see that stuff reflected in your story. Sure, Pat can make a inner city romance, and I make an inner city romance, but maybe Pat got 100 million bitches when he grows up, so his MC, that nigga's the man. He's pulling. I didn't. I got no hoes, so my MC a bitch. He get no pussy. So as a result of that, our experience is the same type of story, inner city romance, sure. But because of our life experiences, you're seeing things play out differently. That's not necessarily generic to me. But just well, Pat did this and it's successful, so I'm going to describe you do that. And that's when I'm like, fucking generic. It sucks. It's derivative. I don't want to see it. All right, I'm done. Shout out to the fadeaway.
MJ, Kobe, fadeaway, perfect.
All right, who's next?
Miles.
I really hate that fucking word.
God.
There's I don't know. It's just weird because just there's just a lot of literary words I just can't stand nowadays. Like I can't stand like plot armor
Paneling.
and like there's just so many words nowadays. Generic doesn't it to me it means absolutely nothing. You're not saying
Not a
anything.
goddamn thing.
You're literally throwing hot air. It doesn't mean anything. I don't really like playing this comparison game because now, as you touched on, like there's like literally like 5 or 6 original stories in the world. Okay, there's only so much we can do as like people. Okay, so I don't know why we're like doing this thing of like, oh, this is generic because it's like this. Well, I can make, if I really wanted to, I could probably make a comparison between any story that ever exists ever. So look, there's no point. As long as there are certain minute differences that you can tell and combinations of other things, or as Naya said, you bring in from personal life, who gives a fuck? If it's enjoyable, it's fine. I don't know why people don't act like they don't get the same life fucking lesson from 50 different movies they've watched. People watch the same fucking Marvel movies when it's the same shit and they're fine with it. Let's not pick and choose when you want to use the word generic because you fucking feel like it, and you're going to be on your high horse when you don't know what the fuck words mean, you fucking morons. Oh my god.
Hey, Dre,
Like,
that shit!
Like, this is fucking stupid. Like, as Simi even said, they said it's boring, right? You can admit to this. People say Demon Slayer's generic. It's Demon Slayer's still better than majority of the new gen animes that come out by far. So what are you saying by saying it's generic? You're not doing anything. You're just salty because the shit you like sucks, and that's okay. Enjoy the sucky shit, but don't try to like take down other people's things by just blowing hot air and saying this dumb shit.
We've gotten to this point where we just use a bunch of dumb blanket term words to try to describe or literally be non-descriptive about stuff. End of the day, when I'll use a couple examples. How many times? Remember when recontextualize was the new word of the week? Recontextualize.
I told you the thematical themes, my boy.
Right. So, I agree with that. I don't remember. I don't know if I say generic. I tend to say uninspired or derivative instead of generic, I think. But when I say generic, I know what I mean when I say it. The word has a definition. It's literal.
Right. I'm with you.
But
with that.
But like what bothers me with a lot of people, and this is like I guess a little bit unrelated to this stuff, is that I don't know if they don't know the meaning of words or they just try to attribute the meaning of words to just a bunch of other things. So I'll give you
I was gonna say I think this is kind of a language thing in general. I think in today's society, connotation has now replaced denotation. So definitions don't matter. It's
what does the word mean to you?
Yes, we say words so much that it elicits a specific response, and now that response is what we're gonna take as a definition. So generic was used consistently to mean bad. So now generic just means bad. That's
now I agree.
Now
I agree with that. Now that makes 100% because I was gonna push back a little. I was gonna push back a little bit because I also completely hate the fucking mindset that we can't fucking criticize other people's stuff that they like and we should just allow everybody to like everything that they like. No, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not fucking doing that.
Hold on. It's okay to let people enjoy things, but they do have to be reeled in sometimes.
Yeah, because they be fucking lying. They be lying.
Man, I'll let you like whatever you like. But if you coming to me saying this is better than this because X, Y, and Z and you're fucking wrong, I'm gonna destroy your fucking series.
Yeah, that's fine.
I would hold on. So like Simi said earlier too, right? I think part of the issue that I would have is the same thing with him. Someone will say something and I'll roll my eyes and I'll literally ask you the simplest question. Crickets, tumbleweeds. You got malfunctioning, short circuit.
That's my problem too.
If you say something generic and I say what's generic about it, I just expect you to be able to tell me.
Yeah, exactly.
Why can't you? Why do people with their entire chest say something with so much like animosity and vitriol and and I'm like, okay, so give me an example.
No.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Like courage.
Yeah, I hate because they always do this type of shit. You ask them to explain themselves, they either say a bunch of fucking nothing, or they say some smart ass shit like, "Oh, you got Google? Look at no. If you can't explain to me what the hell you're talking about,
it's the MC. Of course. Did you really expect him to die? He has plot armor.
Oh, oof! How many times he gone over this yet?
And I'll just look into the abyss and watch it look back at me and be like, am I doing this right? And I'm like explaining. I understand that you think that something contrived happened and the main character got out of it in a way that you probably think was nonsensical. Can you literally explain to me what your issue is? MC got plot armor, don't matter. MC never died. MC old. I'm like, unfortunately, that's not my experience. I have stories where main characters have died, generations have changed. There's been false chosen ones, and we're following somebody who was wrong the whole time, and the MC was someone else. Like, I don't have your experience. I'm sorry. I've seen main characters die, even at the end sometimes, or sometimes before that, and they pass it off to somebody else. And actually, I've seen one where the entire group finishes the mission for the MC. So, yes, they fucking die. So you're wrong. You can say on average it doesn't happen. That's great. But at the end of the day, my experience isn't that. I know stories where main characters fucking perish. So
it's situational, surrounded about the setup and all that.
And stop hiding behind these words that don't mean anything. And like Vince say, I want to explain like, oh, Google it or no.
Tell me.
Exactly.
The onus is
But-
on the person making the claim.
I'm
If
so
these
tired
motherfuckers
of
making
Luffy
claims and
type
not saying
MCs.
shit.
Well, name me some other Luffy type MCs.
See, because the reason I be pushing back is because I be a hypocrite if I say I don't push back against some of this type of stuff. Because my thing is, people have a notion. I'm not saying that you can't find enjoyment in just about anything, because you definitely can. But there are definitely people, and I've seen it a lot, where revisionist history come into play a lot on this app, especially for this particular genre, with stuff that we said when it was weekly. A lot of us said it was bad, and then next year, once people start binging it, all of a sudden it was good. And I'm not saying that minds don't change and you can't have a new perspective and stuff like that, but they gonna totally rewrite the narrative on stuff like that.
I mean,
Like,
this is completely off topic now, but that's honestly one of the reasons why I classify myself as a elitist. Because even speaking now, you can notice that a lot of my opinions don't align with how anime elitists think, right? Like at all. The majority of things that they say and like and do, I don't agree with or like at all either. But what my thing is y'all are just not honest. The problem isn't letting people enjoy things. Y'all just aren't honest. If you like this thing because fucking A or C, then just say that. As Yeti said, all y'all do is fucking hide behind shit. Hide behind shit. Hide behind fucking blanket terms and shit that don't mean anything. That's all they doing.
I've
much.
noticed. I don't know why it's like this with this particular medium, but there is a rampant amount of individuals who have this god awful superiority complex that want to feel better than others because they watch different things.
It's always
And when
existed.
they
It's just easier now.
but in this medium in particular, whenever they get caught liking something that doesn't fit the mold of what they should like to look intellectual, they'll just tear it apart unprovoked or tear other people apart for liking it. Be like, I mean, yeah, it's got this and that, but overall it's not very good. Da, da, da. Like, bro, nobody fucking asked you. Like, what are you doing that for?
It's just fucking disingenuous in its entirety. That's all this.
It's like,
no, go ahead, Yeti, my fault.
We're doing this. We're doing this more for like positive affirmation on the internet and being a part of a crowd more so than this your little.
Yup.
You know, I always say I want you guys to think critically about the things that you're consuming, watching, reading, and playing and stuff. Yeah, think about it. Don't there's times and places where you can just turn your brain off. There's nothing wrong with that. But I always tell you what, don't forget to. Oh, you guys don't remember. Enjoy yourself. make sure to have fun at the end of the day.
Oh, you want to?
Why would you? Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. At the end of the day, as long as you're having fun and enjoying yourself, that's kind of the most important thing. Like, why are you being miserable? Thank you, Zodiac.
It's just
because people suck and people. Oh, I'm so done. Like it's the same way.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all, see, because I'm a resident hater. Like, it's important to enjoy your stuff and stuff like that. My problem is they're just you got to be consistent with these mindsets, and that's my problem. Like, if you're gonna say things like that, then you have to keep. To me, you got to keep that up most of the time. You're gonna be like, "Oh, this is enjoyable." Then don't come to me in the next breath and start trying to talk about, fucking writing and this and that, because y'all, not you guys, but in general, a lot of these niggas pick and choose when to apply that, depending on the series they read it. If they're reading like Simi said, we reading the seinen, we bringing this for y'all reading that little kid shit, then all of a sudden they want to be analytical, big brain, and talk about writing, the thematical themes and all that. But then we read some other stuff, all of a sudden it's, oh, writing don't matter no more as long as it's fun and cute and enjoyable. No, we're not doing that, man. I'm not having it. No.
As I said, it's just disingenuous. They're not in this community because they generally like it. They just want to be a part of a fucking crowd.
Right, and that's my problem. If you want to apply whatever mindset you have to whatever, fine, whatever. I don't have a problem with it. But my thing is keep the consistency. Because to me, it's supposed to be, what I would say, it's supposed to be a balance. the writing matters, but sometimes, and I say it all the time, if I'm talking about something, I'd be like, you know what? I think this was a certain because not everybody don't want to rate shit. Everybody not me. They don't want to rate things. But I'm always saying that like sometimes I rate things. But I'll be honest. I'll be like, you know what? I enjoyed this so much, or it touched me on an emotional level. I gave it a higher rate, and there's nothing wrong with that because that makes sense.
And you can
But to
be
me, you
coming
gotta be
into a
able to
story for
articulate
different
that.
reasons. Like,
Yeah,
you know, you could
like they be saying a bunch of nothing. That's my problem.
like,
If
you
you're
know,
gonna be
I
doing
could
this
be reading
stuff,
One
you
Piece
just
for
be like
world
that.
building. Vince can care about characters. Miles can care about the Void Century mystery. Like, you go have your different reasons for going into something, anyways. But like Simi and like you guys were saying, I don't think that these guys are necessarily here because it's a hobby they really like, enjoy, and want to have like authentic discourse about. They just want to
No.
dunk, get clout tokens, and then, oh, you see, I only like Mushishi, Berserk, you know what I'm saying? Smartest nigga on the planet, nigga. Like that's the type of stuff they're on, and I'm just like,
It's this one man
That's
in any Twitter right now that's circulating that makes me fucking cry laughing every time I see it. Where it's like,
I'm on me.
what's up,
but my
Magalo?
top 5 is like Vagabond, Berserk, what else is in it? Tokyo Ghoul or something, like all the highly critically acclaimed shit, and people are making fun of them every single time for that because it's like, bro, you're just a robot.
Yeah.
pretty much.
I've never understood it, but hey.
It's just, and you can tell that they're not here for this, like, because a huge craze that has now like been like really big is we've all had those like versus battles. I think were pretty decently big like a few years ago and stuff. Screw Attack popularized it somewhat, but like versus battle nowadays is exceptionally big in comic book communities, anime communities, like anything, like in most communities right now. And most people just go in just to see shit, just to say this character's stronger than this character, and that's literally like 90% of what people digest when now they're like doing like watching or reading something like anime.
Somebody
and
had
it's
asked,
fucking
someone had asked
ridiculous.
me randomly like who would win, Zora versus Hots. I'm like, why do you think I care about this in any capacity? I don't care.
It has gotten so insane, especially because like it's one of the biggest things on TikTok.
I will
And, you know,
admit though,
TikTok's
I
really
had my
big.
phase though. I'll never act like I didn't have my phase, but
Yeah, because it used to be fun.
but
again,
a lot of it too was out of annoyance because it's like you don't read DC comics. Stop telling me what Superman can and can't do. Sorry, go ahead.
But Naya, again, but the difference is you still mainly read it for the actual story. This is all it's like the fries to the hamburger, okay? Yeah, like you're reading Superman comics for Superman to be Boy Scout, save some people, have some fun, go on a picnic with Lois Lane and chill.
I want to see him on the Daily Planet, break some
some
story,
Darkseid,
see
he's
Ma Pa Kent on the farm, yup in my tractor. Sorry, but yeah.
Yup in my tractor.
And if you want, if you want to frown and be like, "Hey, Superman just did this crazy feat. You think he can like 1v1 Darkseid and you have a that's fine. That's normal. But it's not like you're reading this to say, okay, is Superman the strongest person in all of fiction? Well, he sneezed out a universe and he like no, shut the fuck up. Enjoy the story for what it is, okay? Like that's all. I'm sick of the way in which people engage in storytelling nowadays. It's fucking ridiculous. It's the same way in which people use the words cliche with generic. It's dumb. You don't know what cliche means. It's okay if cliches exist. They're there for a reason. They're popular. As long as they're used right, it's fine.
Yeah, One Piece parts gonna gives me migraines. I can't imagine inter-series scaling. It's crazy.
Inter-scaling is crazy.
That's so funny, Zodiac, because I was just about to say that. I can't believe you remember that. That's funny as hell. I was about to bring up the one time I was in Brago's stream, I think, and this guy named Anime Fan Talk, he came into the stream.
That nigga.
And then he just started, I can't remember exactly what happened, but he said some shit about, you know, what people don't realize about comics and yada yada, and then you just started listing some power feats, and I'm like, you don't. I immediately went, you do not read comic books. I shut him down. Frame 1, you don't read comic books, because anyone who doesn't read comic books, this is the first thing they do. Oh, was it Superman? No, you don't read that shit. You know nothing about nothing. Because anyone who reads comic books, read them because they fucking like them. Then, like you said, we might be like, bro, stop playing, bro. You know Sinestro was whooping Hal Jordan. Like, cut it out. Like, you know, like we'll have that conversation. But it always stems from a genuine love and care about the universe, characters, and stories in it. then it extends to us just being fucking meatheads. Like, yeah, bro, Yellow Lantern Corps all day. Fear out. But yeah, I remember that. I'm about to bring it up too because I'm like, you do not read comic books. As a matter of fact, you don't even read One Piece. Talking about Fujitora is a fucking time traveling zombie. Shut your ass up, nigga. Is so stupid. But yeah.
Hatred.
I have him blocked.
Yeah, he knows I don't like him. You can tell him that. He knows I don't like him. I don't want to talk to him. So it is what it is. But okay, so what's next? Oh, favorite decade of anime / manga. And I guess we're going by yeah. Well, decade will be 10. Yeah. So you want to start us off? Go ahead. Okay, Jada, kiss.
Everybody knows the best decade for anime and manga is the fucking 90s. Why are you kidding me?
Yeah.
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 Let's go, bro. Just take a minute. Take a minute. Sit down. Look at all the stuff that was airing in the 90s or came out in the 90s. Of course, we got to start with One Piece, the GOAT. Anime and manga came out in the 90s.
You're not rounding that up to 200s? 98?
Fuck no. That shit say 99. Then you got Slam Dunk, also known as Slam GOAT. Sano versus Shohoku. Greatest match of basketball in manga. That shit goated. Yu Yu Hakusho. That shit goated. Hunter x Hunter. That shit goated. Like,
Shaman King.
You just lied there, but alright.
No, wait, hold on.
You're not gonna say Hunter x Hunter and not say Shaman King. We're not playing this game.
Because it got so many continuations.
He could absolutely say that. What the fuck? No, fuck that.
All I'm saying is we're not Hunter x Hunter is not in that class.
You keep that Shaman King gas to yourself.
No. I'm reluctant with Shaman King because the anime came out in the 2000s, and then I was gonna. I know, but I'm gonna tangent off of that later on with 2000s anime, but yeah, we could throw Shaman King in there. The manga is straight, yeah.
That shit not cooking.
I say Yu Yu Hakusho, goated. Let's go. Rurouni Kenshin, goated. Like, come on, man. Oh, like, bro. Then you look at most of the parts of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Parts 4, goated. Like, come on, man. Just the 90s. The 90s was just special, man. I don't know what to tell y'all. That's when they was fucking drawing shit by hand in the studio, trying to give us something that we would appreciate and love. They had their long running shit. Toei Animation was running shit. Gang, yeah, gas, yeah. Hey! I just, the 90s always have a special place in my heart for the contributions that they have given to the society in this medium. Like, anytime I see 90s shit, I just recently watched fucking Great Teacher Onizuka. Man, chef's kiss. That's anime.
Okay.
But yeah.
Real anime, dog.
If I wasn't going to choose the 90s, I would have chose the 2000s because a big chunk of the things that I like came out in the 2000s, like Fate, Gintama, fucking Hajime no Ippo anime, Bleach, yeah. Fucking that's a lot of shit that came out. But my thing with the 2000s though is that there was a time period from like 2003 to like 2008 where they kept adapting shit and they wouldn't fucking finish it. Like I was just in hell. Like I'm like, bro, why are you doing this to me? Just finish the source. D. Gray Man, Hunter x Hunter was a victim of this until Hunter x Hunter 2011 came out. Beelzebub, Medaka Box. Like, stop doing this to me. These are good stories. Finish them. Give them the proper finish that they deserve. But
you know that hurt
it
me.
also has Tengen Top and Gurren Lagann, so I won't rag on them too much.
All right. Does anyone else agree with him? Like it locks up with him?
Absolutely, bro.
I have
It's
nothing
the
to add.
90s, dog. Tenchi Muyo. What the fuck? Yo, nigga, real. Stop playing games with me. Real alien bitches? Like, nigga, you dumb. Oh my god. Outlaw Star? Nigga, Trigun? Oh my god. Shut the fuck up, dog. Shit.
Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. Yeah!
Bro, in space, boy. Are you stupid? Oh my Jesus. Woo! Son, Flame Wreck? Oh my god, nigga. Sayuki? Oh my god, nigga. Son, I will say though that the 80s does have a very, very, very,
Hey!
very
Hey!
special
Leave me
place
alone.
in my heart. Why? Son, that's where my favorite manga from. And that's where its anime adaptation came from too. Fist of the North Star in that fucking decade as well. You know? So 80s is dead. This not no slander. 80s is this shit. I would even say fucking 70s as well. Because nigga, Joe, boy, what y'all know about tomorrow, bitch? Guyver? Nigga, are you stupid? Oh my god. I just watched freaking
What's up, Mikey?
was it Demon City? Shit. That shit was gas. Like, bro, stop playing games, son. Like, all those decades are fire, but yeah, bro, the 90s also had all of the fighting game OVAs, bro. Darkstalkers. Oh my Jesus. Fatal Fury. Are you stupid, dog? You put in a fuck. Nah, bro. Listen, now I have to hit my meme. Y'all wasn't there. See, y'all wasn't in the trenches. Y'all don't know nothing about that tape trading. What do you know about picking up a small black rectangle that just say words on it? Then you put it in a bigger rectangle in a video playing. You don't know nothing about that. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Y'all wasn't there. Oh, y'all wasn't there. Because if y'all was there, you would be talking about the same shit I'm talking about, boy. Son, get a black rectangle that say freaking Darkstalkers on it. You put that bitch in. You see some of the craziest fights you ever seen in your life. Nigga, what? Bro, stop playing games. Y'all know nothing about... Bro. Grappler Baki, nigga, the ultimate fighter. Oh my god, boy. You don't know nothing about a nigga talking about he learned karate from a textbook. Son, hello? Oh my god.
I read Holy Land. I'm sorry. I had to do it. It was too easy. I'm sorry. Keep going.
That was a good joke, though. I found it funny. Like, bro, son, none of y'all will never know just the absolute blood pumping adrenaline testosterone feeling of being in freaking pre-K, having your older sibling pick you up after that bitch, you go home and you watch fucking animation of a nigga tearing out another nigga's fucking nerves with his fingers. You don't know nothing about that. Oh my god, boy, this shit is so gas. Nigga, dog, it's just...
So for me, it's the 80s. 80s is my favorite. I guess if I'm being, like hyper literal, it wouldn't be my favorite for manga. Probably 90s, 2000s. I'll think about it. I'll have an answer for that. But for anime, it's easily the 80s, and it's not close for me because a lot of my favorite anime and anime movies all came out in the 80s. And I'm talking because I don't know if you guys know. I don't know if you guys know that my favorite I want to say Toei. What the hell just happened to my brain? Ghibli movie is like Kiki's Delivery Service and stuff like that. You guys know that
he like FedEx.
Hmm?
Yeah, so you said he like FedEx.
Yes, I do. Okay, Amazon by air. Urusei Yatsura. You guys know that I'm a big Rumiko Takahashi fan.
Which is getting a new anime, by the way.
Yeah,
if you,
I saw that literally I think today.
Yeah, because it just dropped today.
Yeah, Project Echo, right? So
shout out me.
Yeah, there's a couple of Saint Seiya stuff that came out in the 80s, right? And then like you have obviously you have Gunbuster. If you guys know me, the Gunbuster is one of my favorites. Dirty Pair is literally one of my top 5 favorite anime. Bubblegum Crisis slash Crash is literally all of my favorite anime came out in the 80s. So for me, it's not even debatable. And then I can go to the movie portion as well with a lot of the Ghibli movies because I do like um well, that's not Ghibli movie. It might be a movie, might be OVA, but I do like Angel's Egg, and there's like Totoro and Grave of the Fireflies and the Castle in the Sky and stuff. Nausicaa of the Wind and everything. I'm a fan of all that stuff. So that for me is easily the best, and I mean it too. Because I like how it's drawn and animated, how they move. Classic, more hand drawn animation and stuff. Like easily my favorite era. I go back to it all the time. So for that's it for me. I'm not mad at 90s. 90s makes sense to me. There's a lot of heavy hitters, but not a lot of those are not my favorites. So for me, it's 80s easily.
Yeah, like it's the thing. I mean, well, of course, your preferences, your experiences. Just the only thing, or to say the only pushback I would say for 80s is that it's still in that domain, if you will, where technology was still pretty, I don't want to say primitive, but for lack of better terms, primitive. So what I mean is when a lot of those series, there's a lot of recycled animation more so than not. That's why it irritates me when I see people trying to shit on freaking 70s and 80s anime because I am 101% agreement with Yeti. I absolutely just adore how those series are drawn. The still images, the environments, the backgrounds, the smaller details, and most importantly, the coloring is so fucking
Yeah,
gorgeous.
it's so warm. It's inviting.
But using Guy for an example, there's a lot of instances where I'm seeing freaking recycled animations. It doesn't bother me one bit, and the Joe anime as well, the first season. It doesn't bother me one bit, but when I see people using that to shit on them and whatnot, they have somewhat. I'll give them like 1/40th of a footing.
I guess for me, right, that's something I take into consideration, so it doesn't bother me. And I'm personally a believer of sometimes when you're limited by technology, it forces you to think outside the box to circumvent the issues that you have. So
Yes.
I think about things like JRPGs and them having to recolor and reskin certain enemies and backtrack. That's part of the reason why, a lot of those games had it back then. They're working around the hardware limitation. So I'm totally okay with that. It doesn't really bother me. And I would argue I still see that shit today. Reuse frames, reuse moments and stills. I'll see a crowd running, and I'll notice that it's the same bunch just being looped on animation. There's a guy in a green shirt, yellow shirt, red shirt, green shirt, yellow shirt, red shirt. Like, so to me, that's not really an argument because I've seen it in every era anime. So I don't actually would argue with the ones that I watch. It's not necessarily any more prominent in the 80s, and anime has always been cost efficient. Opening, ending, recap, next episode. Then because they do stills and like long shots of shock people. They do shit to be cost effective because they're making stuff like usually a lot of times on a weekly basis. So that argument doesn't work for me, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with you. I am in agreement with you. It's just to play devil's advocate, if you will, because it absolutely irritates me whenever I see fucking hypebeasts trying to shit on 80s and 70s animation and whatnot.
But yeah, old anime just is different. They don't like that anymore. Hand drawn, great things. Cyberpunk aesthetic is one of the coolest things to me. I agreed. Especially Shadowrun. I haven't played the is it
tabletop
tactical.
RPG.
Almost a tactical. But the isometric games on Steam are fun and sell with such a cool world. Yeah, Cyberpunk looks really cool. Me and Miles were talking about it yesterday too. We're actually saying in a lot of ways sometimes steampunk tends to look actually a little bit cooler. But you guys know I'm a cyberpunk merchant. There's nothing that needs to be said. I love that shit. So, but yeah, I don't know if Vince and Miles. I don't know if you're in agreement with everything else that's been said already, or Pat. Pat went first. Actually,
yeah, I don't really have much to say. To me, 90s and 2000s are kind of equal, just because 2000s also just gave me a lot that I learned, and Like it's like early
Phantom Blood.
2000s
Sorry,
weird.
Phantom Blood's 87, isn't it? Let me check that.
Phantom Blood.
Yeah.
That was like 84.
86, 80, what? 84.
I
Yeah.
thought it was like kind of early. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Hold on, let me check.
Yeah, I was right. 87.
Okay, JoJo.
It's 86.
Oh my god.
No, it's January 1st, 1987.
Yeah. Yeah, January 1st, 1987 to October 26th, 1987. So
Dang, 1 day off, bro. You almost had it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, just those eras are just they're just so fucking gorgeous, dog. Like, and it's not. I'm gonna take it a little bit extreme. Having a budget restraints limitations doesn't sometimes force you. It all the time forces you. It's just either if that specific group, studio, what may have you, individual developer will work around it or not. If they'll confine to it or actually do something about it. But it always forces you.
And hand drawn does just it is. I'm trying to think of the word. I'm trying to think. It feels a lot more personal. I think.
Yes. That's
and
the right
like
word.
homey. Like it's like you could like it's almost if like a friend drew you a picture or something like, oh, this is something
Their
you guys
blood,
can connect over.
sweat, and tears were poured into this work of art. Time was invested. I see it. I feel it.
Look how they move.
It's gas.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I think is it Akira? Yeah, Akira to me is probably one of the craziest works ever done, because I think you guys can probably check me, but isn't it? They did 20 hand drawings like per frame, and I think the average of the time was like 8 to 12. It was something ridiculous.
Oof. That's one of my favorite movies too. Like I know I'm well aware. Oh well, you know, that manga this. Yeah, listen, I don't care. Animation is that fucking big. I'm not even. That's not even to say that I'm slandering the source material, because I'm not at all. I fucking own the original left to right first edition localization that we got. It's just that movie is so fucking beautiful. I don't care about how much they left out. I just like looking at it. Also, I fucking love the soundtrack and the voice acting.
Akira is one of those things that kind of transcends the medium, where it's so well renowned and respected.
My grandma loves that shit.
You'll see it in so many different works, like that one shot of Tetsuo pulling up on a bike. You see it everywhere.
No, literally. Was it even in Puppy Cat? I'm trying to remember something I watched. No, maybe it's Beavis World or something. But yeah, even like a lot of comics, cartoons and stuff tend to mimic the scene of him sliding on the bike and the iconic moment and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of the old school manga and anime have they really have huge influences that most people don't realize. And it's funny, it's kind of like once you see it, you're like, damn, it's really crazy.
One of my favorite things is the impact that Slam Dunk had in Japan.
That shit's insane.
They started hooping.
That manga literally started sneaker culture and hooping in Japan. This nigga was out here drawing people in his manga with Jordans on, hooping. And people were like, I need those. People in Japan that knew nothing about Michael Jordan was like, I need those.
It's insane.
Everybody wanted to start hooping.
Jordan-sama.
I want to say Ghost in the Shell, the original run that Masumune did, started in 1988, but I don't. I know that movie stuff came out in the 90s, but the original run of the manga, but yeah. Oh, Akira Body Horror was really good. It made my skin crawl.
Love it so much. God, I love it so much.
Yeah. Okay.
Now I feel like watching some old school anime.
I do it all the time. So I got Blu-rays from my friends in this call.
Yeah.
Tears of my eyes.
Shout out to the best boy. You already know what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, shit. With my semi section. Yeah.
So growing older with your favorites and how it makes you view newer stuff or new stuff. So a lot of us have probably had it probably extends to other mediums, but series and mangas, like manga anime that we've grown up with for a long time, and it kind of shapes your general palette for the medium and whatnot. And then you tend to see some newer stuff that's not necessarily made with you in mind because you come from a different generation, so to speak. And we're just gonna talk about how it makes you view some new stuff because I'm definitely a new nigga hater. I don't really be messing with a lot of the new stuff that be coming out. A lot of that, but I don't necessarily know if that's me being like the old stuff is just better and that's the only reason why. And it's just like, no, this stuff is just not for me. I don't think it's made with me in mind because, like, I'll be very honest, right? 1980s was kind of like the height of, like, I would call it hyper masculinity. Like, my masculinity was still a thing in the 90s, but hyper. I'm talking about everyone looked like it was like an Arnold Schwarzenegger type of like archetype.
Kenshiro.
Yes, exactly.
Momotaro.
There you go. You got your Jonathan Joestars and whatnot too, right? Like just big, brolic, stocky. You're just doing testosterone pumping man shit, right? I come from that school of thought. That resonates with me more because that's kind of how I grew up. You're supposed to do certain things as a guy. Pain is just leaving the body. No pain, no gain. I think I've said this a lot recently, but like, coming home and my mom can't believe my jeans are a different color. Shit ripped, different color. I went to school with white socks. Shit come back black. Like boys will be boys type of thing. So those type of characters and archetypes and stuff tend to resonate with me a lot more. And I think nowadays, because obviously culture has changed, shifting and stuff. And I know Japan is not like here, but I'm starting to see definitely a different type of like MC and type of characters and the way they explore stuff that I'm not saying it's bad necessarily, but it definitely tends to not resonate with me. But yeah, what do you guys think?
It's in very plain, simple words. The Showa era has ended. A very sad truth, but it is the reality that we live in. And even so, the Heisei era has also ended.
Wait. Don't forget what you're saying, because I've got to read this. Actually, said, "AnimangaHEADZ. Look at this character sitting under a canopy, looking into the distance, so pensive. I wonder what he is thinking. This got to be better than the shonen which got some gags." They really be thinking like that. Sorry, go ahead though.
Yeah, both the Showa and the Heisei era have ended. And let me tell you something. This Railway era, man, I don't know, dog. I don't know. These MCs, man, like the series I grew up with. Just strictly speaking with anime, my MCs got beat the fuck up, dog. Mm-hmm. And that shit is so gas. Son, taking hits, getting back up, fucking struggling back to your feet, scratching your nails through the fucking dirt till they bleed so you could get footing to stand back up. You got scratches on your face and your clothes, running, freaking with your head down and your fist out. That shit is gas. That's what I'm here for, dog. Scrappy dude fighting. Like, bro, that is so gas to me. It's always gas. All of my MCs go through that type of shit. That's the type of anime that I grew up with. That was around when I was fucking growing up, when I came into the fucking medium. All right? So, and now you got, and it's not even necessarily a bad thing either. It's just, as Yeti said, it's not necessarily made for me. It's either hyper geniuses who don't freaking lose anything, or some whiny dork who can't do shit. And it's like the not being able to do shit isn't the problem, but they don't got that freaking knuckleheadedness that I like. Oh, I can't do shit. I'm gonna try to fucking do it anyways. Nah, they just crying. And again, which isn't a bad thing, but this was not made for me, right? My era, we adults now, right? So they not worried about us fucking dust bags and shit. They worry about these new little burgers that gotta worry about being biracial and shit or whatever the fuck they be worrying about. I don't know, but yeah, like I always look back. My favorite manga, Kaneko, man. Suguru gets beat the fuck up all the goddamn time. There's not like a single fight that he goes through where he just is easy peasy pickings for him. And I absolutely adore that stuff. And when I look at shonen now and freaking, it's either some nigga who don't want to fight at all, or just some hyper genius who just, oh well, this Keikaku Dori and that's it. It's yeah, man. I don't know. My likes and the things that I've grown up with absolutely have not only shaped how I look at things, but probably always overall shape my bias too. I think I'm a little bit more lenient than Yeti is, but
That's the biggest thing. I say this is we still on the era question, right? Because I had to step out.
no, we moved on. But
Oh
go
yeah.
ahead. No, we on growing up with your favorites and how that changed or shaped your viewpoint of modern or
Oh,
how things are changing in the industry in general. But you
oh,
can
that
go
was
ahead
gonna
and answer
go into
last.
what I was gonna talk about anyway. But so that's the reason I was gonna put the '90s as the best era. It's not necessarily because all of my favorites are in the '90s, but the foundation of my love for this medium is based in there, so it has to be the best to me. To me, that's how I look at
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's how growing up because it's just like man, a lot of that shit from my favorites growing up really fucking. I'm not gonna lie. In some way, I feel like it ruined a lot of things because the shit you get on that as far as some of the aspects like reading DBZ growing up, I thought every fighting manga was gonna be like that. I was wrong. They not built. They not all built like that.
They not fighting like that,
Like
bro.
that, yeah. I'm thinking, oh, this the norm. It'll be like every no. I was wrong.
Yeah,
They
nah,
not
because
built like.
you unfortunately ridiculously skewed the bar for you because you started like wearing the tippity top, one of the best to ever draw fights, and he was like, everybody gotta be moving like this. Wrong.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, it's gonna be like that, but that for that standpoint, like that didn't work out. But from other stuff, like I said, Death Note really built made me feel be like one of the first days where it's just like, oh, this is something that didn't have nothing to do with like fighting, but it's like they were fighting in a different way. Because like growing up, I'm like a complete meathead. If you aren't punching and kicking, I didn't even care. Like, I'm not looking at this, bro. Like you're not throwing no punches, no kick. What are you talking about? I'm not watching that. Cause even the silly shit that I watch, like growing up in Toonami, I watch Bo. That's silly as shit, but they punching and
Still
kicking.
fighting,
And they hit it, yeah, he's still hitting you. He's still hitting you with shit. But Death Note was kind of like the first thing I picked up, where it's just like, oh, this like a different like it's a mental battle. So that made me start caring about that. That influenced me a lot. And that's like the first time I really
Hey,
like was
Vince,
rooting
what
for.
what do I always tell you? Death Note is the exception because they fighting, but with the mind.
Yeah, for sure.
The
For
mind.
sure. Because yeah, this high level game of cat and mouse
I
and
saw that Caprior
cutscenes.
kick from L. Hold on now.
see
That's true. He did hit him with that.
from the ground.
Yeah, because he got punched and before he fell on the ground, he hit him with that. So he's kind of crazy. He got crazy athleticism for a nigga. All he eats is
And
candy.
any nights
That's
of
kind of
tennis?
crazy.
Hold on now.
No, Prince of Tennis. I was gonna speak on that. Prince of Tennis was the first thing. I ain't never seen a group of middle schoolers talk that much shit. They were lying about having to be middle schoolers though. Like 3/4 of them actually.
Tezuka is a grown ass man.
So
Yeah, that's nigga's not a middle
the one. I'm
schooler,
like,
bro.
bro, this man's 35. He's financially stable. What's
Yeah,
going
with a
on here?
bandana on his head and shit. Come on, man. No fucking chance. But I love that. So, just a lot of my favorites got me into drama, but I guess not. I feel like a lot of my stuff that I was watching growing up. I feel like it didn't help me from the standpoint that like also that their characters were so different than the stuff that I get on average when I'm reading this stuff. Cause I be reading stuff and it be got all these little burger MCs. I'm like, these MCs I'm watching and reading growing up weren't like this. Goku not like this. Yusuke not like this. It's almost crazy to me sometimes. It feels like the 90s was more progressive than we are now. How we go backwards with some of the progression of characters just being a certain way or just being different in general. I'm watching, I know all y'all don't care about Full Metal, but even Full Metal Alchemist, like Ed, he a short little burger, but he fire at the same time, and like I'm like, oh, he missing an arm because he had to pay the price for trying to bring back his dead mom. The universe will be like, yeah, it don't work like that, little nigga. Like you trying to bring back your parent, but like, nah, instead you gonna lose your arm. He had to pay the cost, and just stuff like that. And then I read stuff, and I'm just like, why all these like kids? They like either cowards or they like idealistic to the point that it make me sick, and
Emma.
I'm just like, I don't know. It's just it's different, but I really love everything that I start off with. I feel like I got really lucky walking and reading the stuff that I got to. Even the early 1990s, because I started with the 1990s version of Hunter x Hunter, and for me, I know everybody likes the
2011
new
version.
version a lot better, which I'm not mad at per se. But the 90s version, it's just like it was kind of dark in its own way. I think it gave you a different look at some of the characters. Like Killua started being my favorite character because of that. Because I'm just like, this is a kid who like pulling people heart out and he putting it in a bag or just like he popped it like a balloon. I think he popped it like a balloon in the 90s version. And I'm just like, hey, yo. And then just like some of the color scheme, I like the color scheme with the purple black and it's just kind of like it's kind of like the darker lights. And me and Simi, we were watching what we watch Wicked City. We watched Wicked City. I like the color scheme for that, and
Nice.
it's just the way they were doing some of that was just different, and it was just like kind of ruined some things, but it set me on a good path too, I guess. So yeah.
Who didn't go?
So I'll go. Um, I will back off of Simi's answer. Where growing up, a lot of the MCs that I witnessed, they primarily resolve their problems with conflict, and it's one of those things where it's just like an era by era thing. So like in the 90s, you had MCs. No, we'll start with the 80s. The 80s, you had MCs that were the stereotypical macho man type that only spoke when they needed to, and they kind of like harbored their emotions. Like, it's not to say that they weren't emotional at times, but they only showed emotions when they were pushed to the extreme. And like they pull up, they handle their shit like, the way people would think a grown man is supposed to. Then in the 90s, they became a little bit more softer, more uh what's the word that I want to use? Amicable with their friend group. Like, yeah, these were the guys where you're just like, oh, I like him, he's funny, he's more than just like big, strong, and tough. But at the same time, like, they were throwing a ridiculous amount of hands. Oh my god. Whew. They used to be sending shit in the 90s. Man,
Mm-hmm.
greatness. But anyway, 2000s, you had a lot of MCs where they were like, they kind of were more on the emotional side and they were fearful, but they were brave. And what I mean by that is like they didn't choose or seek out conflict, but when it came to confront whatever was oppressing them or their friends or the situation at hand, they always stepped up when it mattered. And now with the MCs today, it's like, I don't know. They're like more, I guess, relatable to the people that consume the medium. And that's kind of where the disconnect comes from. Where a majority of people that start watching anime and manga, like, normally tend to be reclusive or introverted. And, to see MCs that are kind of like Mr. Personality types or soft or stuff like that, it kind of resonates with them more, but it doesn't resonate with me. So I'm just like, I can tolerate it, but like when people tell me like they think these guys are excellent MCs, I can't really see it. So, but I mean, I've already said multiple times, when One Piece finishes, I'm finished. I'm not gonna peep anything that comes up out after One Piece. Everything that came out before, I'll check it out, but after, no, I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, Miles didn't go. He the last one didn't go.
I'm not done. Actually, finish my thought.
Uh,
I'll go after though. I wanna go last for this one.
I don't. I don't think I have much to add. It's such a hard question to ask because I don't know how much my opinion would change. Because I know it would change, but I don't know to what degree it would change. I was born 10 years later or 10 years earlier,
Okay.
so it it's hard. I prefer the older ones. I think some of my biggest issues with newer gens is that, as kind of Vince hit on with like Edward, it's they feel a little too pampered for my liking. And there's nothing wrong with being pampered or be giving, but it's the constant thing of I feel like they're given a lot without working for it or facing any like consequences or need to like prove that they're deserving of said like power or anything of that matter. Uh, and I
I
think
agree with
that's
that.
probably my biggest gripe.
That's why I like
Uh,
Tanjiro so much.
yeah. I don't know if I would say like it's one of those things where I think in any medium art, it's just a matter of looking for something. Maybe you could say on average, the stuff isn't as good, which I would admit to. But I definitely think there's probably some hidden gems and really good manga that even I don't know about that exists today. Because I think that's just
Hate
how
him.
art's gonna be. There's always gonna be something. Uh, so it's just a matter of looking and finding and see what connects with you.
Oh, okay.
Because
So I didn't technically answer this part of the question. My bad. But I feel like if I was born 10 years later, I could kind of see myself being one of those little burgers that would just based off of the era that would have liked a lot of those new age slice of life that they just pour all the animation budget into, and all they doing is talking. I could definitely see that. I get because I started off a lot. I don't think I'd be nearly as big as the harem and etchy fan that I am either. Because fucking, I mean, when I first came out here, my name was the Harem Detective.
We need
And it
him
was Harem this.
back. I can't believe he's dead. I need him back.
Hey, listen, man. They don't even make this genre no more, man. They don't even like me no more. They don't feed me at all. But that's what I'm saying. The stuff like that, like, ain't no Heaven's Lost Property nowadays.
Man,
Ain't no Baka Test. Ain't no none of that. They don't got none of that now. What am I supposed to do? They don't got no oh my goddess. They don't got none of that. What am I doing? I don't have none of that, my boy. I don't have none of that no more. I'd been watching Slice of Life where all the pretty colors would have popped up and they would have been talking. I think that's the type of stuff that I've been into.
I think with me, this is like one of the previous questions where it's like, I know how it'd be different if I grew up later and stuff. Because again, a lot of the stuff that I think kids, I think a lot of, I'm also lucky to have my like dad in my life. So there are certain things that I just got to learn from him, right? But I guess I asked this question before I kind of continue. How much do you guys think Japan has changed over the years? I don't know. I know we don't know for factually statistically, but I do know that there has been some issues in the kind of dating realm, and the birth rate is declining and stuff like that over there too, right? And the reason that I asked that is because I want to know how much you think. I know they're different. Like the East is different, but how much do you think our society over here, I guess Western society, Canada, America specifically, kind of affects them? Because now we're mad sensitive and we yell and we rage and we're always protesting and doing all kind of stuff. Do you think that at all trickles down into Japan?
It
No,
does
it definitely
somewhat,
is.
but I don't think they're a large. They don't. I think they have their own things that they're going through. I don't think some of that stuff it does affect them because it's just going to. It affects everybody.
And we have the technology to see everything across the globe.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Just progressive nature. That's just the nature of humans in general. They're nowhere even near on the level that we are with.
Because the reason I asked that is because I have this is not a big sample size, so don't take this as a representative of like Japan and stuff. But I remember seeing like videos of people from those countries being like, I would see Americans openly be, LGBT per person or whatever the case is, and it's like it made them more emboldened to adopt that, or to be not to adopt. I'm sorry, to be comfortable voicing that in a place like Japan where you don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. So, in my opinion, I would actually argue that the way that manga has evolved is very similar to how I would say this society has kind of progressed over the couple of years where again the type of main characters and stuff that we see, I think some of the ecchi probably being toned down because my feminism and women and blah blah blah. I don't know how much it affects Japan, but I definitely think it trickles down into in some way, shape, or form because I start to get more characters kind of like Deku, and nothing wrong with Deku. I just don't relate to him. You saw no, they believe me.
To me,
Whatever.
they just have they have trends to me though.
That's what
Nah,
I was gonna say.
I don't think it's trends. I don't think it's trends at all.
Well, no, I was gonna go to a conversation that you and me were having where we just like, back when they were making a lot of the stuff in the '90s with hands. That's when like in the early 2000s, like the UFC was booming, and they cared a lot more about like fighting stuff. And then we just got to a point where they just don't care about that no more.
And I think
But
Terminator being so big, I think had an effect on them making certain characters the way they were in the '80s too. It's like
right, exactly.
I guess the point I'm trying to make is that there's connection. We're like interconnected. I just don't know how much we're affecting one another. And when I read a lot of manga today, I just see a bunch of like extremely whatever stuff. Like I just don't care about this. And I think, I don't remember who said it. I'm sorry, but you said something like a lot of these characters, they don't work hard, and they kind of get a lot.
Miles said that.
Without putting the work in a lot, where it's like you're just a super most special awesome kid, and I think that's a mentality that a lot of people grow up with now. Like I exist, so I deserve to be president type of thing. And it's like we come from the school of hard knocks. How many times have we seen our favorite characters' face hit the goddamn pavement? They on their legs wobbly. They're just trials and tribulation, blood, sweat, and tears, just persevering through adversity to get to the place they want to get or get the results that they want. I just don't really see it like that anymore. It's not that they don't exist; they're just much rarer, far and few in between. Though I will admit that I don't pay attention as much. I think Tanjiro is a good example of someone who actually works really hard for the stuff that he has. Because I'd argue he's not even the most talented naturally in the trio. Or the trio, nope. if you will, right? So, and that man puts in a lot of work. He has a lot of dedication and stuff. Though, I still say he's kind of a blend of like, you got the emotional side and yada, blah, blah. But when he has to, he puts his hard hat on, so to speak. And then he hits, goes to the pavement, gets to work.
So the literal definition of kill you with kindness.
The thing I was going to say was, it's not trends. And I don't think it's, well, of course, our side most definitely is affecting them, but it's more so just their community in general. Because, like, as Vince said, look at the harms from back then, where you had the series was one character with a bunch of girls, or one girl with a bunch of guys, right? The harms and Ultimate were like that. Nowadays, the ecchi series, what do you see? It's usually just one guy and one girl, right? If you look at the whole Kohai Senpai subgenre that I like to unofficially dub it as, so things like Nagatoro and Uzaki and Komi and whatnot, one guy, one girl. It's not one guy in a giant cast of girls, all right? And then even with stuff like with freaking I don't know the Japanese name, but My Dress Up Darling, right? With fucking everyone's favorite crew. Yeah, she's fucking fire. But the same thing, right? One guy, one girl, right? So I honestly think that's probably pushing the notion of garnering and making relationships with the other gender or whatnot. Because them harms and them etchies back then were about diverse big cast, versus now they have multiple characters, but the main characters usually just focus on one person, or the side cast. They're kind of like two separate things. It's the main guy and the main girl, and the side cast they just do their own thing, right? So it's not just two characters. So I actually feel like it's more so how their society is now. Now that I listening to what y'all saying and then looking at what's coming out, what's been animated recently, what's been popular, right? So I actually think that's where that comes from. And same thing, like if you look at the 80s series where you was deep in the Showa era and those macho characters that, they had everything on their back and shit. That's how society was over there, right? Back then. Mm-hmm. In the 2000s with the fucking knucklehead shit and living your best life during your young years and how the future belongs to the young and all type of other shit, right? And now, as you said, they have a declining birth rate, and freaking guys and girls aren't really communicating with each other like that, look how fucking popular Kaguya-sama is, dog.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I don't even know the main nigga's freaking name, but I don't see Kaguya interacting with fucking other male characters like that, or has eyes for other male characters in that series like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's where that stems from.
That makes sense to me because you want, I mean, and you know, you're the what is it? Oh, shit? Is it art imitates reality? Something like that. I can't remember the line, but yeah, that line.
Life imitates art.
There we go. And then, but I do think that a lot of times, our current society and things are represented in what we're doing. Some things are super timeless, and even if they did do that, they're good enough to still stand the test of time later on. But no, I agree with that. So, how do you think how do we judge manga on topics we can't relate or have no knowledge of? Vince, you asked this, and I want to make sure I understand this. I think it's one you asked. I want to make sure I got this correctly. It's like if I pick up a manga and it's all about doctors and just medical stuff, and I am not a doctor.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, cool.
Cause I'll say it like this. I just read Smile Down the Runway, and I don't want to say I know nothing about the fashion because I've watched a lot of Fashion Runway and America's Next Top Model. Not necessarily because I wanted to, because you have a girlfriend, you gotta do shit like that. But I think, like, I guess kind of what I'm asking is, how do y'all how does that make y'all feel like when you go? Is that something that you be interested in sometimes? Do you be like, oh, am I gonna I don't know nothing about this topic, but fuck it, I'm a reader. Or do you just tend to stay away from that?
No, I dive in. Yeah.
What I would say is, for me, I would generally let's say again medical thing, right? I just tend to supplement what up not supplement. I try to like kind of artificially inject knowledge to myself because I'll look up what they're saying. I do this with Golden Kamuy. They'll talk about something about the Ainu, and I'll be like, is that real or is it at least based on something true? And I'll Google. Read it. I'm like, so I'm away from the chapter for anywhere from 4 to 12 minutes. Like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Sometimes I go down a rabbit hole. I keep clicking more stuff, and I realize I'm wasting an hour. But generally speaking, when I don't know something, I don't understand it, or it's something I don't know from a historical standpoint, I just look it up. Sometimes the translators are cool enough to have translator notes, but still, I'm such a skeptic. I'm still gonna look it up myself. But yeah, it doesn't intimidate me. So if I'm reading a series about I know me, I know nothing about fashion. I wouldn't be intimidated about a series about fashion, but obviously if we're talking about the fashion in the show, I might not necessarily speak on it like, oh, this was a great outfit. I might not say that. I might just be like, oh, I just like how they represented the fashion industry, so to speak. You know, so I'm not the type of person necessarily that likes to be misinformed or don't know something and just speak like I know about it. I don't do that. I think I know a lot of people do it, and I don't think it's weird, but sometimes it's like if a geologist walks in the room, don't you act like you know more about than that. Stop it. I'm talking about stuff like that. They'll act like they understand quantum physics more than somebody who legitimately is in that field and is renowned in it. And just because I read a book about it once, it's okay, perfect example. I'm a fake psychologist. I read 26 back-to-back psychology. I'm not a psychologist, nigga. I don't know shit about psychology like that. I read a bunch of books on it, and I could apply some stuff. I learned about it, but I didn't go to school about it. I can't actually properly psychoanalyze somebody. I'm not trained for that. But that wouldn't stop me from reading a story like that. As a matter of fact, it might intrigue me it might make me more intrigued about the topic of psychology. And then, yeah, so that's my answer.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying for me, because I'm kind of one of those people that I can read anything because I'm just manga, at least most of the time, for most things I read, because I do a lot of this pertains to, the easiest example is sports, for example. You read a sports series, I don't think nobody really in here, I mean, I could be lying, I could have at least tried it. Nobody in here played tennis or water polo, but you could read or watch anime and that shit, and all of a sudden you be like, man,
I've definitely played water polo. I've played tennis. I've dabbled in tennis, but I can't say I've played a real game. But water polo, yes, I've played. I'm pretty good at it, actually.
Oh, okay, see, that's why I didn't know for sure. I said, yeah, we have some pretty interesting lives sometimes. It's just you could have watched the anime on water polo and be like, you know what, I'm finna go buy a stick. I'm finna try this out, because it's just sometimes they just are just a really good job of impacting you, making you try stuff. But reading Smile Down the Runway.
You know what, Vince? Dino Ace. I did not know anything
Nah.
about baseball or had no baseball
I
interest.
did not know a goddamn thing about baseball.
My baseball knowledge has extended largely because of that show. I wanted to know what typical batting averages were in the MLB and stuff like that. I looked all that stuff up as I was reading it. So I actually just thought of an example of something kind of recentish. But sorry, keep going. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good, you good. That's perfect. Cause like, yeah, it's like reading it. But the thing is with this one, cause like, and I'm gonna bring it back to this genre after I say this point. But Smile Down the Runway, it's just like the good thing about Smile Down the Runway at least is that like I don't know how often this happened. She worked with I think it's the she that wrote it. She worked with a fashion consultant, so it's like, oh, that's really cool. So like you have somebody like on standby that you can help you with the thing, and they throw in the little terms and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, okay, that's really cool. So like I don't have to think, because most of the time I think how I go about it sometimes. Like if I'm reading a sci-fi manga or I'm reading sometimes even a martial arts manga, and most of the time I know generally enough stuff in the martial arts because I did martial arts myself. But sometimes, you be reading some of the descriptions you think, and to me it's like as long as it sounds plausible, I usually just let it go. Like I don't do enough research. I'm not as in depth as you now. I be like, sometimes I be wanting to do that, just don't be putting in the effort to do that. But
I blame my grade 11
one
of my grade 11 teachers for that. She made me this way.
Got you. That makes sense though. That's good though, because sometimes I be reading this stuff and I'm just like, man, you know what? As long as it sounds believable, no. Or like I'm reading a psychological gambling manga, I'm like, this don't even sound right. Like you just making shit up, man. Like there's no way. So I just want to ask how do y'all feel about that type of stuff too? I guess when I'm asking this question.
The thing is, you know me, I'm not a slice of life head at all, right? So if you tell me to freaking go read a manga that's about being a fashion model, I'm just gonna look at you, right? But that's not. But that doesn't come from me not knowing anything about fashion. That's just me not being interested. Series that revolve around things that I know nothing about doesn't intimidate me or doesn't make me stray away from them. It just as Yeti said, it'll probably make me interested. The only difference is I'm not gonna look things up while I'm reading. I'm gonna look it up after. I don't want to fucking spoil myself. But yeah, like shit like that it doesn't really intimidate me at all. And when I'm looking at these type of things, I usually just take it in stride as I'm getting it. Then after I finish whatever fucking experience, I go fucking look it up. Well, if I like it enough, anyways. If I didn't, then I'm just leaving it as it fucking is. But go look it up, go educate myself, if you will, learn about what the fuck they was talking about, so on and so forth. Shit, you know what I mean? You know how much shit fucking Virtual Last War fucking taught me, dog. No, that boy
Yup.
Chikoshi, man. Nigga, I feel like I was in fucking college, nigga. Shit, the fuck,
Remember I told you I had pen, paper, dictionary out, calculator out. Like, yo,
like I don't know nothing about none of this type of freaking social experiments and all type of other shit. I know nothing about it, but this shit, yeah.
it was specifically the Chinese room. I think that might be ZDT, but the Chinese room thought experiment I didn't know about. The only one I knew about was the many worlds interpretation theory. But I love how they tackled it and went into it. I never went that in depth into it. And then I did.
The only one I
actually
knew was freaking Prisoner's Dilemma.
Okay, yeah. That's a classic
everything
one.
else. Everything else in there, that's brand new information to me. Like learning is fun, dog. So it's like if there's a series that interests me, but it's not something that I'm well versed in, hell yeah, I'm gonna go in that bitch. And that shit freaking teach me some shit I didn't know about. Shit, boy. I'm in there like swimwear. It's just like, unfortunately, I'm not a slice of life head. So you're gonna have to do a lot if you're a slice of life series to get me to look at it to begin with. But that doesn't have anything to do with it being about topics that I don't know anything about. Is me answer.
Unfortunately, I'm wondering why he said unfortunately.
Shit, you goddamn, I'm gonna fuck about niggas living their life, bitch. Go fuck it.
Miles?
Wait, can you repeat the question again?
This nigga was not paying attention.
No. I was. I'm generally just trying to remember the specific form of the question.
How do we judge manga on topics we can't relate to or have no knowledge of? So if you've never read anything about, okay,
I judge it normally as I would do anything else. I personally, I usually really enjoy stories about that. I don't know if I would say it has to be the main topic, or it's like a side topic about shit I don't know, because I think it's a very fun and palatable way in order to give information to someone. You know what I mean? Because if you're already doing it in a means of storytelling that you already enjoy, then you getting that extra information of something you may not like want to learn, like in a textbook or something, then yeah, that seems like a double win in my book. So I usually actually really enjoy stuff like that. And as you said, you can always do your extra research on the side if need be. Uh, I don't think it's daunting personally for me, at least if I see something. Uh, if it's like a topic that can be so potentially far removed from what I know, I think that's fine, because I think I think this is the case for most of the time, but I'm just saying this sometimes. But usually there's always going to be something you can probably connect to in a story, whether it's a person, maybe someone says like a sentence or ideology that you believe in. So there is gonna be something, right? Like if I'm watching a series that you guys said about like a doctor, maybe there's like a patient that went through like that has like a similar life to yours or something, or the doctor has like a condition. Like there could be something there anyway. So uh, being open to anything and everything will probably net you some pretty good benefits. So yeah.
have you guys ever read something like that and just felt completely out of your element though? Like I just don't. Like this is just I don't know. Ever?
IG.
Okay, because of like yeah, I didn't know. You know, that's not a bad. That's not bad because like I don't gamble, so I don't know
Well,
nothing.
I don't have not a single shred of gambling
I
addiction.
know it's not in me. It's not in me. Like I'll like okay, like Red, you lost. I don't want to play no more.
Actually, well, Kage would be the better answer because it's specifically about shogi. Nigga, I don't know how to play that shit.
I feel that.
Not shogi, fucking not shogi. It's what the fuck is that Chinese shit called?
Mahjong,
Yeah,
Mahjong.
it's mahjong. There you go. Now, yeah, cause shogi is just fucking the fucking
Japanese
Chinese
chess.
chicken. Yeah, yeah, it's mahjong. I don't know not a goddamn thing about mahjong. That
Bro,
shit raw though. You telling me this little 40-year-old burger mixing up yakuza? Like, bro, that shit is gas.
bro, I tried so hard to understand mahjong, and I was just like, bro, I'm lost. First I can't read the characters. Like I can't read the characters on the fucking pieces. Number one. Number two, I can't build none of these fucking setups. Like I just be looking at this shit and be like, what goes with what? Nigga be throwing that shit down, say Ron what? What? I be so confused, bro.
Oh shit.
There was that Raku Goku poem 1, 2. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I don't got any poetry. I don't got a poetry bone in my body. A calligraphy for Barakamon, I believe. Is Barakamon thing the right thing with the calligraphy and stuff? Like that was easy to wrap my head around, but it's not something that I really like understood going into it. Like I didn't really think about it like that, but a lot of series do have someone or a character do something that's pretty cool that I don't know about that'll make me kind of somewhat interested in it, even if that's not necessarily the focus like that. You guys ever seen Garden of Verge from Makoto Shinkai? 2013.
No,
I know
no,
what
sir.
it is. I ain't
Well,
watched it.
one of the things that he makes shoes, like sneakers, and I like just never actually thought about like how make get make, and I just ended up looking up. I'm like, that's pretty cool. So a lot of the times, even though I don't know anything about it, it just be a gateway for me to go kind of look it up myself. I may not go crazy like how I did with like psychology or something, but I might care enough to be like, this is kind of cool. Like I wonder, I'll just do that. I did the research.
And the
I'm not.
reason
Yeah.
I bring this up too is how many stuff that I feel like I end up liking, especially in manga more so than anime. How much stuff I end up liking or a part of my favorites was stuff that I didn't know nothing about even before, or some stuff that I was really interested in, and then maybe like felt like, for example, like I was really into Act Age, but I don't know nothing about acting in that way. Like until he lost his fucking mind, fucking monster. But yeah, but like I was just like that was like going down a really good path. I thought it was like crazy how he was utilizing how that he was like portraying that, and I just thought like, wow, this is a very interesting way to show people like acting and what acting is, and just like how obviously it's very dramatic how they do it, just like even Slam Dunk. Like how many Japanese people got into basketball because of Slam Dunk, because he was a basketball fan and he wrote a series about basketball. They didn't know nothing about no damn basketball, and then he go over there, he started putting Jordans on niggas' feet and teaching them how to rebound and shit. Is different.
Inoue is so goated for that. Oh my god, legend.
I feel it. It was so good. I got my brain hurting from the gambling games to be doing. But like me, remember that football used to be the greatest thing ever to me. Don't know anything about poker. I tried to watch dominoes, but I'm not a sports guy. So when I got about 5 episodes in or something, so even that I can kind of understand. Even though I do think there's other things you could take away. If you're not someone who ever was really into sports at all, can see how it could be a little jarring for you to start it. But
I mean,
sports,
still,
sports,
like,
sports. I learned so many of my life lessons literally from sports. So it always be
yeah,
important
like
to me.
there's it's more. That's I really don't like when people say that they can't get into sports anime because they don't like sports. Like even if you don't care about the actual sport itself, like playing the game, there's so many things you can take away from it, like the camaraderie, the time and effort that they put in to be good, the acknowledgement of when they've hit a wall and somebody's just flat out better than them at something, or like the way they will hide their injuries in order to continue playing the game, and then they'll try not to weigh the team down at the same
I learned
time.
what
Like
yips
it's so
was
many
from Prince of
things.
Tennis. I didn't know what the concept was, but I remember like I actually suffered. I actually like went through my own version of that with my ankle, and I'm like, oh my god, I didn't even know there was like a term for that. Remember Tentacle's elbow?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember my ankle. I was like, I'm like, I actually compensate because I lean to my right all the time. That's crazy. Never thought about it that way. I didn't dislike it. It's fun. It's not for me. I try again some other time. I feel it, but sports is something that's probably easy to get to. Like even though I guess because I always have a connection to sports in general, even if it's a sport I don't particularly understand, I can kind of like try. So. But no, I actually thought that was. I thought that was. I think one that still throws me for a loop, obviously, because I'm not a fighter and I don't really watch. I mean, I watch the circus here and there, as some people call it, when my friends care about a certain fight. But I don't know. I don't really know nothing about martial arts or fighting to that degree, like a proper striking stance and blah 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 and yada yada. Like I actually don't know nothing about that. So even sometimes if they're talking about, oh, you see, he used the palm of his hands and wrote the blah blah, I'm like, huh? What
Oh my
this?
god. I mean, well, it's always funny. It's always funny when you fucking actually like and know something, and when you see people are confused. So I ain't gonna harp on you too much, but that shit is always funny. I'm like, nigga. Look! Just look! You don't see? Look at his foot! Oh my god! You like look at what?
Yeah, my friend was trying to explain to me like, oh, see, this guy's such a better fighter because you could tell by this and that and blah blah. I'm like, word, that's what's up. I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about.
Can't you read, mister? Can't you read?
Oh shoot. So yeah. Okay. There's one more topic, right? Oh yeah. Okay, so I honestly think we kind of answered this last question, so I'm gonna change the topic. You guys don't mind, cause I think this bleeds into us talking about the favorite decade and stuff. Cause we talked about the kind of current state. You think, or do you want to talk about it anyways?
No, you can change it to something else.
Cause something that came up earlier that I wanted to ask, that I'm just kind of curious about, and you guys in the chat can answer too. Is I want you to take mangaka A, mangaka B. Mangaka A spent 20 to 26 of their years writing one story. That's a masterpiece that is loved across the entire globe. Mangaka B, over the course of the same time, Russ said they wrote 16 different series, and at least 10 of them are really critically acclaimed. Nothing was quite as popular, but they made a lot of really good, high quality stories. Which mangaka would you be impressed by more, generally speaking, or does it kind of depend on the story? You can go personal if you want. So I'm kind of thinking, like, let's say Oda never does anything again, One Piece, and think of someone like a Urasawa or something. 20th Century Boys, Billy Bat.
That's
blah,
crazy.
Blah, yada, yada.
Those were the two people that popped in my mind when you said that shit.
Yeah. So,
the masterpiece would have to be on, like, I would have to be a Pat level stand how he is for One Piece. I would have to be on that level.
Pat level.
I would have to be on
I'm
that
certified.
I would have to be on that level for the guy who's writing the singular masterpiece for it to matter on that level. Because it could be a masterpiece and university acclaim, all that, yada, yada, yada. But if I don't think it's on that level, then it doesn't matter. I'm taking the guy who wrote 10 out of 16. Because the likely chance that he has 16 series and that I like 8 of them, that's crazy. If I like 8 of his series, that's crazy number. Shit, if I like 4 of his series, that's a crazy number.
But Vince, option A made one series and he hit on that one series. He's shooting 100%. What you mean?
See, my thing is, do I think he hit on that though? Because that's the only thing that matters at the end of the day. Do I think it's one of the greatest things ever written in this medium?
In this hypothetical, yes. Like my point is, like, my point is just like you're impressed by both, but what is kind of more impressive to you? So, like, let's say you are the One Piece fan, you love One Piece, it's so good, but you're like, Urasawa got like 10 bangers, maybe nothing as great as One Piece, but there's a lot of good stuff here. I just want to know, like, generally speaking, which one you like. This guy's probably.
If I think that series is the peak of the peak of the peak of the peak, then I'm going with that one.
Okay.
My answer is Mangaka B.
Talk about it.
Because having one story and it being a masterpiece and regardless of the length, I would say is easier because you could just dump every and all of your ideas into it without any hesitation or second thought, really. When creating a different series, you have to make it different from the last. You don't want it to be copy paste where it feels like, these two series is written by mangaka B, but series 2 by mangaka B just feels like series 1, but red instead of green.
Okay.
Right? So having to create a completely different setting, cast, theme, story that doesn't remotely feel like the previous work is a insane feat to me.
It's like showing your range.
Yeah. And then doing that multiple times is absolutely fucking insane to me. Because, all right, I made this world. It had like 30-something characters, it had this lore. Now I'll make a completely different world that has absolutely nothing to do with the original world that I made, that has now 70 brand new characters that are nothing like any of the characters from my first work. And this is a banger as well? What the fuck? How are you doing that? You're not human. You gotta be stealing something. You're stealing somebody's life force. So my answer go to Mangaka B.
Okay. Miles?
Is he there?
Miles!
Dun, 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 dun.
Hear me?
Where is your rage? Rage!
Wait, can you guys not hear me?
Yeah, now
we hear you now.
We can.
I have 2 questions to Naya. One, so for the other ones that he writ, like, would they be like 8 out of 10s?
Whatever works for you. Let's just, I mean, yeah, I guess that's fine. But you personally don't think any of them are as good as the one, though. Whether that's a 9, an 8, or 7 to you, but
second question.
Okay.
And then, how long are they?
Look at this nigga
the
with these
the
semantics.
the one
These
story
are
would
good
would
questions.
obviously be extremely long, like in the like up to like maybe
Yeah.
2K, and all the other ones would be anywhere from like 100 to 200 chapters, I'd say.
Okay, then I think skill wise, they're True Blue equals, but I prefer B, because I enjoy things like that more.
Look, I respect it. I'm just saying, if it's going to all my qualifications, if they wrote the best fantasy series of all time, I gotta pick that every single time.
I think if B had like if they were like really long and stuff, then I would say for sure he clears. But
Yeah, my
otherwise, I think
my
they're
answer is Wait, Pat, did you answer?
I did not.
Go ahead.
I mean, it's not obvious though.
Yeah, nigga, but I want to hear explanation, not this. I don't necessarily. I want the explanation.
Okay,
behind
okay.
it.
I'm sorry. But like I said, growing up, I preferred long running series, and I think option A properly encapsulates what that is. Whereas, like, this person spent X amount of time cultivating and treating this series with care, and you grow alongside this series over time. So it's like it's more than just the fact that it's a great story. It's the fact that you go through it with many multiple facets of your life.
Yep.
So it becomes attached to you and what you are. So that's what would make me pick option A. Whereas like option B is like the reliable, whenever I need something good to read in passing, I could just find it, pick it up, read it, finish it, and have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I view it.
I kind of will argue for me that there's not a right answer, but if you put like a gun to my head, the only reason why I'd pick A is because it's obviously it's like the best story. It's my favorite, and there's so much content in it that I'd be okay. But if you ask me, I'd probably think B is more impressive if, like Simi said earlier, you're showing off a different level of range. Right? Take care, man. Yeah, I'm probably kind of wrapping up soon. We go for a while, almost like 3 hours. But so like let's say person B, right? Their first hitter, or the first one they make, is a hitter, and it's a romance. And then they completely deviate. We do some space sci-fi something, and then we do like a freaking western, and this western is like a slight like showing me how diverse you are in your writing and showing me your range. Think about like a voice actor or actor who has a lot of range. Like, wait, that was you? With your deep ass voice playing this character? Like, it's very impressive, but I also think it's equally as impressive to have one story span like 3 decades and you maintain its quality and consistency to the point that when it ends, most people love it. I think it's kind of like showcasing different skills with some overlap and commonality. But if you put a gun to my, like, which one do you want for the rest of your life? I'll take A. Which one do you probably find slightly more impressive? I'd say B. So that's my answer. Option A will be something future generations will see and appreciate it. B might be more numerous looking back decades from now. That makes sense to me. But all right. This was good. This was fun. I know some people gotta head out. So any final words? Any final words for the people?
Oh, I mean, just to shout out fucking Siamese and his fucking question. Will I be watching anime and reading manga in my 30s and 40s?
Thought I wrote that down. So sorry. All right. So we can do that. Sorry, I forgot. I totally forgot. That was the last question is do you think would you watch anime, read manga kind of like I guess forever, but like into your 30s, I'm 30 already, but into your 30s and 40s and 50s, do you perceive yourself still being like a manga reader, anime watcher, like, or how do you think that will change? What are you guys thinking?
I am absolutely in this shit for life.
Okay.
For life. Once you're in for life, dog. That
there's only one way out.
That. Like I'm like, yeah, this shit is not going anywhere, dog. I've been doing this shit since fucking 99. Like it's not. Bro. It's just not gonna go anywhere. I'm taking this shit to the grave with me. Mm-hmm. Even if it might be the point where it's so sparingly where I look at just one thing per year. I'm never gonna say, oh, well, I'm just gonna stop looking at this. Nope,
See,
never. I'm always gonna be looking at this.
I'm just gonna. You tagged me in. That's probably like my train of thought, because that's naturally what's been happening. I never lose my love and admiration for the nerd shit that I like. That's gaming. That's comics. That's whatever you could think of. But I'm definitely a lot pickier, and there could become a point where it's like, oh, like this is really up my alley. I remember like stuff like this, and I'll watch this at like 45 or something. I don't perceive myself ever stopping, especially the reading portion, the reading side of it. But I could see me engaging with it less and less and less. But then I could also, conversely, my pushback to myself is, let's say I'd like who is that?
That's Vince. He outside.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, mute. Let's say I have a son or daughter and they're really into anime, and I could see myself recapturing that spirit and joy of it through my child. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's my answer.
I kind of answered it already, but yes. When One Piece is done, I'm hanging my jersey in the rafters. Like Simi, I too have been doing this since '99, and yeah, it's little shit in anime year by year that has been increasingly annoying me, and I have just been distancing myself more and more. Like every now and then, there's some stuff.
China.
Yeah, that communist country not getting me, bro. But
Don
there's some stuff
Dingy.
every now and then I'll see something that's cool and I enjoy. But it's like my enjoyment is curbed because it's not the same experience that I'm having that I had when I was growing up, because I'd be having to wait. And my enthusiasm ebbs away until it comes back, and it's a vicious cycle. And that annoys me. Not only that, there's not that many hand-drawn shit nowadays. And fucking the fandoms of these new series just constantly annoy me. I think that's probably me getting old, but they constantly annoy me with the shit that they care about because it has absolutely no relevance to their fucking story.
Mm-hmm.
So when One Piece is done, I shall be finished. The lone exception is like what was Naya said earlier, if he has a kid and then they like anime and then I start watching it with them, I'll probably watch it with them. But I wouldn't be watching it on my own time. I'll just watch it when they watch it.
I definitely agree with you that like a lot of small things that turn me off of it overall more and more just a little bit. And that's the discourse around it, the people who like it, how it's changed and stuff like that. And I think that's just a natural part of growing up and stuff. Like, it could be for different generation and stuff, but I'm not. I don't know. Again, I could see myself being just a very, very, very like I watch it sparingly, or maybe I just become one of those people who like I just rewatch shit that I like in my 40s and stuff that I just don't engage with whatever's coming out. I could see myself going multiple paths.
I'm not counting all the stuff that I already liked and watched.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna still watch those until I'm done. But new shit, no.
Okay. Miles.
I'm gonna engage with storytelling for the rest of my life, so I don't see why I would stop at anime. So yeah, I'm probably never gonna stop. I might not do it at the same rate, but I don't see why I would stop.
I don't know if Vince is still unmuted and outside and stuff, but
nope, I'm here. Do not exclude me from your journey, nigga. But nah, but I don't know. For me, it's always been a case in point that like I'm always gonna be involved with this stuff. Obviously, like the rest of y'all, I don't know what the rate is, but my thing is too is that I don't want to be a boring adult. Cause for whatever reason, when people I'm already an adult, but when people get older, they just lose their sense for fun and creativity and enjoyment. And I'm not gonna be a nigga who go to work,
I got
go
bills
home
to
and
pay,
do
man.
nothing.
Damn. I'm joking.
You got bills to pay. That don't mean you gotta be a joke though. That don't mean you gotta be a boring Nancy. That shit's fucking
I've
dumb.
always been boring.
Like,
that's the joke. I've been boring my whole life. It's okay.
Look at him, Debbie Downer. But anyway, But I'm always gonna do things that help me enjoy life and help me enjoy different things because I always love talking about this shit. That's the only aspect I guess I'm kind of worried about getting older because I do think there is a certain age where you can't be like those people who get older and be super obsessed with Disney. Like you gotta be cool about it. Like
Yeah,
I
you
can't
could
be
like Disney, but
35.
don't you be in Mickey Mouse ears, fucking going crazy at
Yeah,
44.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The fuck wrong with you?
Yeah, you gotta relax. So yeah, it's like I might still be in the anime, but I don't think I could like quite talk about it the same. Where I gotta talk about it more like I gotta find a cooler way to talk about it. I guess you gotta represent your age and your stuff well. You can't talk about it the same way. But yeah, that's the only thing.
Hmm. But yeah, but I think what Miles said is definitely right. Like I'm always going to engage in narratives and literature and storytelling for the rest of my life. So this is probably not off limits, but I could see myself kind of. I mean, I've already since 2013. It's been a steep decline. Like, did I ever tell you guys there was a point where I, at the very least, would watch every first episode of everything coming out for like an anime core?
Oh Jesus Christ! You used to do that?
And then I used to like watch multiple per day. Like I'd have at least like 2 shows per day, a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday show, etc., etc. Slowly but surely, it's
Zero.
like it's like kind of funny to me because as animes become more like more normal people, I guess normies be watching it and whatnot. I could see people's interest because it's still like it's novel to them. So like Naya, you're the anime guy, yada yada, and I'm just like, bro, whatever, dude. Like I don't be caring. Like I think I killed their hype because a lot of them don't like they haven't seen how I've grown and stuff or whatever, so they still think like I'm the like 16-year-old running like scoring a goal and hitting the gear second pose. Like I don't do that. Like I like shit. It's cool, but like I don't be caring like that. Like I got a bunch of interest, So. Yeah, that's crazy. Wait, Kubera probably ended around the same time One Piece does, given she wanted to do 4 parts and 3 has been going for how long now? Or I remember, I heard she wanted to do 3 or 4. I don't know if it was right though. I couldn't. I'm not. I'm probably not the best one to ask because I'm still kind of a new Kubera fan as much as I like it. You gotta ask the Ashus and the Katanas and stuff. They're the and the Kakos of the world and Anatagas of the world. They're like the crackheads. I'm not there yet. Final words for the
Final
people.
words is
Yeah.
bring jiggling titties back, bitch. Man, listen, bring panty shots back. What's wrong with y'all? That shit gas. I don't care what nobody say. Look, all you need is look, punch in face, eat food, panty shot. That's all you need, though. That's all you need. Like, you don't need nothing else.
Those are the 3 things you need. You gotta beat. You're gonna beat Jihad. Reiterate the story. What's the other one? I forget one of the way. Yeah. So fight, eat,
And
eat,
fucking panty shot.
and then eat
So
the boss.
eat some more. Yeah, see, eat the boss shit. That's all you need, though. You don't need no thematical themes. Ain't no I contemplate in my life and the meaning of fucking whatever the fuck. No, you don't need that. All you need is look, spiky head, white button up, dress pants.
With the tie.
Woo!
With the tie.
Phoenix, right? What?
No, he
Punch.
could dress. He got a suit on.
Punch.
That one niggas who just have like a polo shirt on and throw a fucking tie around it. What? Why do you look like that? That's not swag. Even I know that, and I can't dress to save my life. So
That's all you need, dog. Listen, bring back just pure hands and bring back fucking pure tip. Like this on, bro. I don't need nothing else, dog. I don't need all mathematical themes and what this shows are the freaking how when you go through traumatic. I don't care about your traumatic instances, dog. Fight.
and there you have it.
Fight. You have to fight.
Any final words, Pat?
Yeah. 90s the GOAT, One Piece the GOAT, hand drawn shit GOAT.
Miles? Beating food, beating cheeks. There you go. The tried and true trifecta formula. Vince?
Oh, he probably
Yeah, fuck Miles. That's my final piece.
My final words.
Man,
My
Vince is different.
final words are goodbye.